The next Call of Duty reveal is imminent, and Cyberpunk 2077 continues to look rad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 243 of the It's Obvious podcast. My name's Garrett Drake. I'm joined online by Jacob Alka, the only other member on the podcast with me this evening. How are you, my friend?
Howdy there, Garrett. How you doing there, bud?
Dude, I'm doing just fine, partner. I have had a wonderful Monday here in the midst of a pandemic, August 2020. It's great to be joined by you. I have a nice cup of hot green tea. Tea, Gromit, tea! And I'm ready to rumble, man. I'm ready to talk about some video games, talk about the weekend, talk about life with you because I love you, and it's great to see you, as I said. So, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm a little drained and tired from today. It's been a very long day, but I'm still happy to be here. I'm still happy to talk about my week, talk about what I've been watching, what I've been playing, and of course all the juicy news that we got over the last week. But I want to ask you, why do you have green tea as your why are you drinking green tea? Because it's certainly not the best tasting tea. In my opinion.
No, I mean, I have a few options. I have green tea, black tea. It's kind of like that scene in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which, by the way, I hadn't seen that movie in over 10 years, and I watched it for the first time just last week. Mm-hmm. That movie is a masterpiece, like unequivocally. I did not realize how good it was until I watched it after a 10-year gap. One of Edgar Wright's best by far. I loved it.
I think it might be in my top 10.
Ramona Flowers talks about her tea collection and just goes on and on and on. That's basically my cabinet right now. And I have hot tea maybe 2 or 3 times a week, usually in the afternoons. But I didn't want coffee tonight. I already had coffee today, so I switched it up with some tea. So that's why, Jacob. Are you that concerned?
Yeah.
It is very dark and cave-like in your room right now. I've never seen the lighting like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I just turned off, here's what happens when I put my screen on. This is like the notes. Then when I turn them off, it's like black. You want me to turn a light on? I'll do it for you.
No, you're fine. It's
on your end, it's very bright, and I can barely even see you.
Right. Well, by the end of this episode, it will be pitch black in this room, and you won't see me at all. So enjoy it while you can.
That's what I really, yeah.
What are you sipping on this evening?
Just water. I wanted to make some coffee, but I didn't have a chance to make any. But I did have some tasty lasagna from my mother. She made me dinner tonight. My folks have been out of town for about 2 weeks, so I haven't had any of her lovely home-cooked meals for quite a while. So it was quite the treat to come home to tonight after a long day.
Yeah, Jacob, it remains to be a crying shame that I've bared witness to many photographs of your mother's cooking and videos as well, and I've yet to taste it, but every time I see evidence of your mother's cooking, it blows my mind. Kind of makes me sad. My mom's a pretty good cook too, but I don't eat with my parents often anymore, so yeah. And whenever I do, we rarely cook these days.
I guess it sort of helps that I am living in the basement of my parents' house. So
right, for the time being. So relish it while you can. Cherish it while you can.
Oh, I am for sure. Like these last couple weeks, I was forced to go buy things and then decide how much effort do I want to put into cooking. Right? Do I want to buy just some bread and some peanut butter and make some peanut butter sandwiches and have those? That would not be cooking, Jacob. Yeah, I'm not a great cook. I'm gonna cook a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I made some rice, and you remember what I used to do at the apartment? I would pre-make a big batch of rice, chicken, and some veggies. Well, I did that, and I made a couple of cartons of those. So I had those a few nights, and of course I made some Taco Bell trips. Let's be honest.
Wonderful.
Here. And we can talk about that if you want to. But
let's do it. Let's have a taco talk. It's been a while.
So like you have said in the past, Garrett. So the hot new item right now is the grilled cheese burrito, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's the greasiest burrito I've ever had in my life.
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to echo what you said. It's way too greasy, and because of that, I did not get it this time.
Last time you and I had it was good, but it was just
it's good.
A lot.
It's really filling and it's really greasy, so you feel like absolute crap once you eat it. But it's definitely good when you're in the moment.
I actually showered last time I ate it. Immediately after eating it, I feel filthy.
I wonder what would happen if you showered while you ate it. Would you feel gross when you got out of the shower, even since you just ate it?
To balance the two, yeah. So maybe if you have you stick your head out of the shower and enjoy the burrito while lathering up, perhaps it won't be quite as disgusting.
Maybe if you just stay in the shower a little longer than the burrito, then you'll be fine.
Right. That might be the solution we're looking for to try it again. But unless I can do that, Jacob, and that sounds like a lot of effort, I'm probably not going to have it again.
What else happened? Did I have a sunburn last time we spoke? I think I did.
You did, yeah. Did you survive that? I mean,
I did,
how's
yeah.
your skin?
They're not going to see me, the viewers, but
I'm getting a good look at you right now, Jacob.
I'm a little pink, but I spent the last few days peeling everywhere. Like I would wear a shirt all day, I'd take it off, I'd have like dead skin falling off of me. It was the most disgusting thing ever. But
it's like body dandruff. You're like a snake shedding its skin, or a spider molting.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, but yeah, that happened. I think the day after, when it first happened, that Monday, it was an incredibly painful day because I had to go to work that day. I was wearing this polo shirt, as I do, and it's like a very heavy shirt. It's the fabric that it's made of is just kind of rough on the skin. Not that it would hurt like your regular skin, but if you're sunburned, it's like extra sensitive. So I just spent the whole day being super uncomfortable. So that was sort of a painful process. And then that night I went to go buy some aloe because I couldn't stand the feeling anymore. So after I had aloe on a couple days, then the skin started to peel off, and you know how it goes. But I'm doing better now on that front. But
glad, Jacob. I mean, lesson learned. I mean, that's exactly what happens to fools who underestimate the star that warms the entire planet. So
yeah. Well, you see, that wouldn't happen to the old me because the old me actually spent time outside, but the current me spends all his time inside.
You're a basement dweller in a pitch black
literally,
basement.
Yeah. So
grinding for mounts all day.
Speaking of which, I didn't get any mounts this week. It's quite disappointing.
Bummer, Jacob.
I hardly played any WoW.
Your investment is not worth it, man.
Yeah, I hardly played
any
any
WoW. It's like every other
week
week you're getting a mount.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely slowed down because not only is my playtime slowing down, but I don't know, my motivation's sort of dwindling as well. So it's because of I keep wanting to say Sekiro, but it's Ghost of Tsushima, or Tsushima, as Bojangles corrected us last week. But what else happened? Oh, I went up to. Have you been to Kennesaw Mountain hiking?
Never, man. I used to. I worked within walking distance of that mountain for about a year, but I never went. Yeah.
So on this last Sunday, so yesterday, me and Clara went up to Kennesaw Mountain. We hiked a couple different trails. We did not go to the peak because we had no idea what we were doing. So we just tried 3 different trails and none of them went up to the top. So we were just like, okay, we'll come back and go to the peak next time. Excuse me. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I haven't been hiking in quite a while. So it was nice to sort of just get outside and do something where I wasn't getting burnt. And it was sort of a nice day yesterday. So we enjoyed doing that. We picked up some iced coffees on the way back. And then we stopped at Whole Foods and had some of their... Have you ever been to Whole Foods and had some of the deli section in there?
Not the deli. I've only ever had their buffet before.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the buffet, like the food you can just order and they'll give it to you. It's kind of like a Kroger buffet or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I decided to get some pizza from Whole Foods, and it was quite good, I gotta say.
I haven't had the pizza. I hear it's pretty good though.
Yeah,
the buffet.
It's not like the best thing in the world. It's not like a Anatoli's or
it ain't no Red Baron frozen pizza. Is what
exactly.
You're saying.
I mean, to be fair, Gary, you got me hooked on those, and I had quite a few of those when my parents were gone too.
Nice.
So, because of you, I was well fed. But yeah, that Whole Foods pizza was pretty good. And I watched a couple things this week. Before I forget, I want to mention them. I watched half of Aquaman. And
oh, nice. What do you think?
It's pretty good. Some of the effects are kind of interesting, and they kind of take me out of the moments. But it's a good movie overall. I think what's the dude's name? Black Manta.
Black Manta.
Manta, whatever. He looks ridiculous. I know he's based on a cartoon, but his helmet looks so stupid, man. It looks like a bug.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I actually admired the fact that it looked almost a comic book identical.
Yeah.
But I understand how some people can see that and be like, "That's just how's that even functional?"
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think like the combats, anytime he's in any scenes, it's entertaining. But I don't necessarily think his motivations are the best. I think it's just kind of dumb. Like
Just trying to avenge his father.
yeah, which is, I mean, I get it. Like, you know, he wants to avenge his father, but you know, they were bad people.
Dude,
Like,
have you ever
why
played
do
The
you need
Last
to
of Us
avenge
Part
him?
2, man? He's going to stop at nothing until he gets his vengeance, or at least gets up to the point of his vengeance and lets Aquaman go.
Yeah, well, don't tell me that. I haven't seen it yet.
I can't remember what happens, if I'm being totally
Oh,
honest.
yeah, okay.
I remember the main set pieces in the movie. I just remember it being very entertaining and pretty funny, too.
Yeah. I keep calling the redhead girl Ariel. I don't think that's her name, though.
Amber Heard.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name either. It's
Her hair is so red in the movie. It's
Athena.
It's insane.
It's not Athena.
Might as well be. But yeah, the movie's pretty good so far. And me and Clara also finished the first season of American Horror Story. And people have said that the first season is one of the best. And
The first 3 are awesome.
yeah, I've heard the
I'd
second
even go
one's
as far
really
as
good.
saying season 4 is pretty good, too.
People have told me the second one's the best, but so we might watch the second one, but I think we both agreed that neither of us were really scared. I don't know if it's supposed to be scary necessarily. Like there are moments where it's like, you know, things jump out. But I don't know. I was expecting more. Like it was entertaining, but it also felt like it dragged on way too long. So I don't know. Like we may watch the second season, we may not. We'll see what happens. And I'm on the very last episode of Erased, Garrett. I took you and Preston's advice.
Nice.
And I pretty much watched that whole show
Man,
this
you're really
week.
cranking out the content, man. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching the anime by myself, but the other shows I've been with Clara.
Yeah.
But Erased is insanely good. Like I've really, really liked the show. Like I said, I'm on the last episode and things are getting a little juicy, so I don't really know what's going to happen. But especially like the first few episodes, like when he first started, I guess when he first went back to his childhood, that was like really entertaining to me. Yeah, it's probably up there in one of my favorite animes. It's been very good. And I see what you guys were saying when you said that it's an anime for people that don't watch anime. Because
it's very much like a pretty grounded. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not grounded in the sense of like, oh, like wild stuff is happening, but in terms of just the animation and the voice acting and performances are pretty tame for an anime.
Yeah, it's a very like grounded.
It's a far cry from One Punch Man.
Yeah,
at the very least.
Indeed. But I'm trying to think if anything else happened this week. Just did a lot of work. Played some more Ghost of Tsushima.
You've gotten that name wrong all night. You're like, dude, did you play some more Sekiro? I'm like, Ghost of Tsushima? You're like, yeah. Not even 5 minutes ago you struggled with the name. Like, you play some more Shadows, dude?
You know why it is? Because a friend at work told me about a Sekiro DLC. So I was looking for this news and I didn't see it anywhere. So I think he has a bad source. Did you hear anything about a Sekiro DLC? Because I haven't.
I could have.
I
may
typed
have
it into
seen something
Google.
like that a couple of weeks ago, but I completely ignored it.
I typed it into Google and all I found were old articles like speculating, oh, is there going to be a DLC for this game? But
Maybe that's what he saw.
Yeah. Or maybe he's just following some weird sites. I don't know. But he was like talking about how excited he was for this new Sekiro DLC. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't even hear about this. Then I think I asked him if it was in the state of play that happened on, I think it was Thursday night because we were talking Friday. And he was like, yeah, it was in the state of play. But I mean, I didn't watch the state of play, but I looked at the list of the announcements and it wasn't on that. So I think he's just full of shit. So
Did you tell him that you don't want to be friends anymore because of that?
yeah, that's
Or actually,
what I
that you
told
don't
him.
even want to be coworkers anymore?
Yeah, I'm actually quitting because of him.
You need to tell him, like, hey, man, I'm not going to quit. I'm actually going to get you fired for giving
Yeah.
me wrong news.
Yeah, I'm actually going to let him know about that tomorrow. So
It's
won't
probably
have
in
a
your best
job.
interest.
Yeah.
Prevent that from happening because it's tarnished the entire episode. We've now become a source of false information just for you mentioning that.
Yeah, he's actually he doesn't like his job either, so he'd probably be relieved that he didn't have a job.
Or it'll just be, you'll be like, dude, that Sekiro news wasn't real. He'll be like, yeah, it was, dude. I heard it on your podcast yesterday.
It was in the intro, man. But I think that's all that happened this week for me. Quite a nice, vast range of topics there.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I did. But what about you, buddy?
Mine was great as well, Jacob. I played some video games, which we'll talk about soon. I spent the majority of my weekend with Zach Bynum and his wife and newborn child, and another close friend of ours. And the five of us, I should say, had a grand old time.
Wait. You mean that guy that wrote in last week making fun of us?
Yeah, Ricky Pringa, Zach Bynum, fourth member of It's Obvious Gaming, that guy. Did you grab his question from Facebook? I haven't read it yet.
I did.
He said, okay.
Yeah,
he said
it's not even worth reading, to be honest, but I put it in anyway.
Yeah, he was really hyping it up for me. So I haven't seen it yet. But the five of us hung out all weekend. We mostly just watched movies and played a lot of board games. We played Life. We played Mystery Date, which I killed, dude. I won 2 matches in a row. It's a game from like the 50s, I believe, that was designed for young girls, but we played it anyway, and I thrived. And
okay, boomer.
Played that. Played pretty much. Played Clue, Disney Villain Edition. We played a game called Super Fight, which is a game I really want to play in the podcast. This is amazing. So get this. You have a deck of cards. One stack is a bunch of different possible characters. I mean, you think of anything, it's in the game, like a dinosaur or a samurai or a businessman, a velociraptor, literally any character you can think of. And then you draw a bunch of different trait cards. And there are all these different abilities you have that kind of craft your character, and you choose your character and your abilities. You can always only choose one of each. So each person chooses one character and one ability. Now, before you all fight, because all it is a game of arguing, like arguing who would win in the fight. And so it requires a bit of imagination and creativity, which I love. But right before you start fighting, everyone pulls one more perk card, like ability card, and that could completely alter your character entirely, or it can completely enhance it. Like one of the funnest, most interesting perk cards, I think, is you get to steal one of your opponent's perks or like trade them. So that's one. And then there's random ones like you can jump really high or grow 1,000 feet tall, or you have a impenetrable shield, or you have, I don't know, like minions or something. Like one of mine was like you have 9,000 cat minions. So, you can do teams, you can do 1-on-1, 2-on-2, but we did like it's literally called Battle Royale is one of the modes where it's like every man for himself. And we spent at least 3.5 hours playing this game. I think we went through every single card in the deck. We just kept playing because it was so much fun. And it led to just the most bizarre, hilarious, creative conversations about who would win in these crazy fights. And I was like, this would be brilliant to do on an episode of the podcast, because the three of us, especially if we get a fourth person on the podcast, could just battle royale it and super fight for an episode. And it would be so entertaining, I bet, especially if we had some drinks. But yeah, I think that's something we should do, especially in person in the near future, because it was that much fun.
Yeah, that could be a fun little side episode, a one-off, will you?
Yeah. I can't remember the term they use in TV shows where it's like a random episode that really has nothing to do with the story and it doesn't progress it or anything. It's called like I can't remember. I'm not going to think about it too
It's
hard.
Not pilot. It's
No. It's a certain term. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that game was fun. We played one other one. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, the voting game. So it's a game about voting with a bunch of different numbers and cards, and there'll be like a question prompt, and you have to vote on whoever in your group it applies to most. Like this person or so and so is most likely to jump out of an airplane without a parachute. That's not one of the questions, but it's just a random example. And everyone votes without showing who's voting for who. Yeah. And at the end of the game, whoever acquires the most votes for each card, you collect the card you get the most votes for, and that person wins at the end of the game.
So it's basically Cards Against Humanity.
Sort of. It's kind of like that, but not that same game. But yeah, played a bunch of board games. We watched Twilight and New Moon. So that was fun. I think
you watched Twilight?
Yeah, we watched Twilight and New Moon. Which those movies are bad, but at the same time, they're very watchable, just very entertaining.
I'm not bashing you. I enjoy those movies. I think they're good movies.
Yeah, that's what Zach and I said. Like, we all were surprised because we like jokingly were like, let's turn on Twilight. And we were repeatedly distracted and would be playing a game. And we'd go like 20 minutes watching the movie and not even realize we like got distracted and started watching it.
I misspoke. I don't know if they're good movies necessarily, but I think they're entertaining enough to watch.
That's what I mean. They're very watchable. It kind of reminds me of how I believe Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Arnold Schwarzenegger is bad for all the right reasons. I mean, I think it is a brilliant comedy unintentionally. So I love watching that movie. Kind of the same thing for Twilight. I mean, much of it is very poorly acted and directed, especially the first movie, but they're fun to watch. We went to a brewery in Athens. We went to, what's it called? Creature Comforts. That company that Thor was drinking two of their beers in game. So they're in Athens. We went there on Saturday, I think. And
Nice.
it was cool. Also went to Little Italy in Athens. I hadn't been to that pizza place in over a decade, I think. And it was awesome.
You went to Athens.
We did, yeah.
Nice.
So spent the Saturday there. And I think that's really the extent of my weekend. Last night I watched a Korean film called Burning, which had been on my list for a little while after Parasite had received just all that positive recognition. Many YouTubers and people on Twitter were talking about, if you like this Korean film, you'd love all these other ones. And Burning was at the top of many of their lists. And I didn't realize it was on Netflix, so I watched it last night, and it really blew my mind. It was phenomenal. I think it's Steven Yeun, is that how you pronounce his name, from Walking Dead?
Okay.
He's the Asian guy.
Yeah.
I was unaware he could speak fluent Korean, and he's in the movie and speaks fluent Korean the entire time. He's one of the main characters. And that's what has blown me away with these two. I can't remember the director's name of this film in particular, but the last two Korean films I've seen, granted, are at this point world-renowned and award-winning. They both, like, the themes they express and explore in these movies just blow my mind the way they explore them. And they're both so beautifully shot too, and just incredibly acted. I'm like, I need to see more of this. I need more of this in my life. Like, these Korean films, at least these two I've seen, have been truly exceptional. So I cannot recommend that film enough. If you even remotely like Parasite, it's similar in many ways, but explores different themes as well. On Netflix, Burning. So check it out if you haven't seen it.
I need to
I'd love
see
to hear people's
Parasite.
thoughts if you have seen it.
I need to get around to
Parasite
seeing
is
Parasite, dude.
Gold. It's one of those movies that the trailers don't do it justice at all, which I think is a good thing, because there's so much to be spoiled in that movie.
Yeah.
And after I saw the movie, I totally understood why it won Best Picture and got all those awards and received all that recognition, because it really is that good.
Do you know where it is? Like, where can I stream it from?
I watched it on Hulu. It should still be on Hulu.
Okay.
So if you have Hulu.
I don't personally, but I know someone who does.
Nice. Sneak it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else interesting I did aside from those things.
Did you leave your apartment?
Not much. I went grocery shopping today. See, my day was in stark contrast to yours, Jacob. I woke up and this my favorite thing to do in the pandemic while not having a job is to wake up and just read for like 2 hours.
Wow.
So I read this morning over a cup of coffee. I worked out, and then I went to the grocery store. And for some reason, at 3 p.m. on a Monday, the whole city of Atlanta decided they want to be at Publix. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the perfect time to go. No one's going to be there.
Yeah.
Everyone was there.
Which one did you go to?
The one off Howell Mill
Okay.
nearby my place.
Yeah.
So, did that, came back, played some Ghost of Tsushima, and still nicking away at that game. I still have a million things to do, and I'm not rushing to finish it either.
Yeah.
So really
dude,
enjoying
it's so big, man. Like, I'm
It is
never
very
going to
big.
finish it.
Yeah, the longer I've played, the more I've come to realize, and this isn't a problem because I've reviewed so many games now to know you're capable of reviewing games based on their systems. I think it's always important to finish the story in a game, but all the side content in a game of this scope, I don't think is absolutely necessary to complete. So I doubt any reviewer actually did everything you can do in the game prior to reviewing it. Maybe a few influencers did, but I doubt media outlets did, because there's just so much packed into it. But that's not a knock against any of the reviews, because I think all the reviews I've seen have been awesome.
Yeah.
But have really, really enjoyed that game. Still love playing it. I have played a fair amount on Lethal, and Preston and I were talking about this. I do like Lethal in the satisfaction if you nail your parries, nail your dodges, and your stances. You can really wipe out these Mongol squads pretty quickly, which is cool and is satisfying, but I enjoy the combat so much that I prefer to keep it on hard, because I like having long, extensive battles, because it just makes it that much more fun to me. So I go back and forth between Lethal depending on my mood, but I prefer it on hard because those battles last an extra 20 to 30 seconds sometimes, which I think is really exciting. So
Yeah, it still has a 9.3 on Metacritic user score. So that's
Nice.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, I almost exited out of the Zoom call instead of the web page.
It happens. I've done that actually on important Zoom calls before. It's quite humiliating. So,
you want to go ahead and just talk about Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah, let's talk about what we've been playing, Jacob.
So what I've been doing lately. So I finally got the what was the last stance? Is it? I know there's like a stance that I don't have yet.
I think
it's Moon. Thank you. The one where he's I think he has like a sword like back here or something. He's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But
looks awesome. Yeah,
the one that's good against brutes, I believe. But I think the one that's hardest to use for me is the one that's good against the spear guys. For whatever reason, the spear dudes always get me. Like
they're tricky to counter.
Yeah, because they attack when you're in the water. Is it the water stance? No, it's the wind stance. When you're in the wind stance, they attack quicker than you. And I always try to attack them, and they always stab me before I get my attack off. But I think I need to like dodge and then attack.
Do you have that ability where you can parry those blue attacks?
I do, but I always forget to do it on the spear guys. I don't know why.
Yeah,
like I do it on everyone else.
Best upgrade for them is just to upgrade your, I think it's wind stance all the way, where you can just hold triangle and kick them over. Mm-hmm. And there's a final perk where you can just run up to them and immediately stab them and kill them.
Oh.
So you can take them out very quickly with those upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've fully upgraded the first stances tree. So, and I actually unlocked the last stealth kill as well. So now I'm killing guys really quickly in stealth. Yeah, I'm just walking up to guys and stabbing them in the neck and walking away. And I see what you guys were saying. Like the second stealth kill is like a lot more satisfying than the final unlock.
Yeah.
Even though it takes more time. But yeah. Overall, I'm on the quest right now where I'm going around to all the different like family farms and I'm trying to get all 6 keys to get that armor. Mm-hmm. And I think I have one more left that I'm going to do tonight. But I know nothing about the armor, only that it's locked away from these 6 families, and I hope it's good because I've spent a lot of time trying to get it, and I assume it specializes in something just as all the other armors do. So,
yeah, I can't remember what it does, but
I think it starts with a G, the armor.
I think it's Gosaku Armor.
Yeah, something like that.
I like that armor. I think I've said 100 times I just wear the Kensei armor primarily, but it's fun to unlock that armor. My favorite quest line and armor, thankfully enough, was the Kensei, because you have all those duels with the samurai around the open world and all those different locations.
Yeah, is it with the straw hats?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fought one of those guys. I didn't know why I was fighting him, but I just like stumbled upon him and he was like, fight me. And I was like, okay. And I beat him on like my second try. It wasn't too tough.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't really know where I am in the game. So I got like to Act 2 and I've pretty much just been doing side quests, and I've been spending a lot of time doing this armor quest now, and I'm sort of just chipping away at dens and haikus, and just random stuff that I come across on the map. I'm not really doing any main quests right now. So I think I might need to start doing some main quests because I'm getting to the point where I'm sort of like just going through the motions in the game. And I think it's because I'm just doing a bunch of like homesteads. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like so I'm like going into these homesteads. I'm like, stealth killing everyone. It's not really that satisfying. So I think I just need to mix it up a little bit. I'm sort of like boring myself. But I'm still really enjoying the game. I need to change the pace, I think. But
yeah, I run into those situations quite often. As soon as I hit that, I'm like, okay, I guess it's time for a story mission because I need something that's a little different. Mm-hmm. Preston is in Act 3 now, and I think he texted me yesterday saying that he's really, really into the story once he hit Act 3.
That's cool.
So that's kind of what was the turning point for me, was stepping into Act 3. I was like, okay, now I kind of see like the story actually is something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm into it as well.
At the same time, though, it's like really easy just ride to a location, and then you see something, you stop and go do it. Then you come across something else, you go and do that, and then you finally get to where you're going and you do that, and next thing you know, an hour and a half has passed, and your night's gone. So it's just an open world game, right? Like it's something that I haven't played in a long time. So I guess I just forget how much time it takes to get through these games. And I'm not someone that like whenever I play an open world game, I like to do everything. So it's sort of like disheartening at the same time because I still feel like I'm in the same story spot that I was when we talked last week. But in all actuality, I've done a lot in the game. So I just need to, like I said, I need to focus. I need to get some important stuff done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I have the same problem with The Last of Us. Like anytime that I have to play the game, it only feels like I have like an hour or two to play it. And it's really like I just want to sit down for like 7-8 hours one day and just play a huge chunk of the game. But that just hasn't happened for me yet.
Yeah.
And I hope it does because I want to give this game a big chunk of my time. I've just been pretty busy the last couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I'm actually very surprised at how long it's taken us to get through the game. I'm surprised at how long we've been talking about it. I think we're talking about like 3 or 4 episodes now.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that. So it is a good thing. Like I like a good extensive open world game knowing that there's a lot to uncover and explore and accomplish throughout the game. And I think in most open world games, if it has a really solid, enjoyable gameplay loop, that's a huge positive. You okay over there?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. You look really concerned for a second.
Oh, I was trying to move a plate very slowly, but I don't think I hid the sound.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I've only had 1 or 2 days to really play it more than a couple of hours at a time as well. I don't even have time to play it every day either, so that's probably another contributor as to why you and I both are still kind of in the middle of things. But hopefully in the next week, I can beat it. I mean, I really could just blow through the story and finish it if I wanted to, but yeah. I don't like playing it that way. So we'll see in time. But immediately after that, I'll be jumping into Persona. So leading up to Cyberpunk. I'm
so excited for you to play Persona.
Me too. I'm hoping I can afford Royale by some miracle, or Royal. I keep saying Royale because Preston called it Royale.
I thought Preston was going to lend it to you.
I don't think so because he never beat it prior to Ghost. So I think he's just going to continue playing his copy. But maybe I'll GameStop it. I don't really have anything to trade in is the problem.
You can have my old copy.
I have the old copy still.
Oh.
So I would play the old copy, but everyone who's played Royal says it is like night and day better than the original. Not to like crap on the original, but Royal improves the original in many aspects. So don't want to miss out on that.
You could trade in the old one for the new one.
Yeah, a couple of bucks off the new one.
It probably is worth a lot less now that the new one's out.
Right.
But,
yeah,
you could.
Ghost, man, solid PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Best samurai game ever made, easily.
I feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah, I'd say it is the definitive samurai video game experience for the time being.
And it's only on PlayStation. # not fanboys.
Amen,
but other
brother.
than that, Garrett, I've been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft. And let me tell you, I didn't really do anything in the game this week.
Yeah, it sounds like it was futile this week.
Yeah, did. I mean, I did a couple things to try and get some mounts, but they just didn't drop, man. And didn't raid this week. We took a week off. I think we're going to be back this week. So try and get those weapons again. I probably won't. Let's be honest. But, I'm going to try. Right? That's all I can do. I can show up and I can try.
Well, I continue to admire your courage and your willingness to stick it out, Jacob. That reminds me, I've been waiting for an opportunity to send this video to someone.
Yeah?
And I'm going to send it to you, and you're really going to enjoy it because it's going to encourage you to see this quest for weapons through.
Should I watch it right now?
Yeah, and play the volume too. I think the listeners will enjoy this. I'll post it on Discord in a little bit.
Okay.
It's called Never Give Up.
Is this a Rickroll?
No.
Okay. All right.
I got it from Japanese.
Next time I'm feeling down in the dumps, Garrett, I'm just going to play this video.
That's what I needed it this morning too.
Never give up.
The job front is really tough right now. Nothing's coming through. And I saw that. I was like,
I'm here standing in this water.
Yeah. So I imagine that'll encourage some people from the community this week as well.
Yeah. I don't know if they could even understand what was happening, but
Right, I totally forgot it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
But it's great.
But yeah, that's all I played this week. I think you played a few other things that you might want to talk about though. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I also got my hands on Fall Guys, courtesy of, I guess, Devolver teaming up with PlayStation to get it on the free games for August. And I took advantage of that, Jacob, and I've had a fair amount of fun playing that game. The servers are truly atrocious. I think I mentioned that to you before we started the episode.
Mhm.
Every time I get on, it's either working or it's not working, which is a major problem. Hopefully
I've heard
they
that from
resolve
other
that
people too.
sooner than later. But it is just good old-fashioned dumb fun. Like, it is just so much simple fun. And in many ways, I mean, it's a totally new experience for me. I've never played anything else like it, but it's almost nostalgic in that sense because it's just mindless and enjoyable. So I love all the mini games I've played. Very much is like Wipeout brought to life, playing as little jelly bean characters. And I won my second match I ever played, which is pretty cool. So I have a crown under my belt.
Nice.
And I'd love to play more, just the servers are always broken when I try to play it.
Mhm.
So really fun game. If you have a PlayStation, it's free. I recommend trying it out.
Can you play, like if I played it on PC, could you play it with PS4 players?
I don't think so. It might be crossplay. I haven't looked into that. I don't know enough about the game to know if it's crossplay or not, but that'd be nice. I will say it outshines as much as I love our Bounty Hunter Star Wars Battle Royale we pitched, I think this is a better example of an innovative, fresh Battle Royale experience. Because that's exactly what it is, but in a game show type form.
Yeah.
With these wacky characters, it's incredibly colorful. I think the music's very obnoxious. I wish I had better music, but overall, man, it is just one of the most interesting Battle Royale experiences I've had. And I mean, it is a Battle Royale, but I don't even really think of it that way.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly fun, especially when it just randomly pits you against teams of players, like you're teamed up with a bunch of random people and you have to work together to complete objectives. It can be both frustrating and exhilarating at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So highly recommend checking that out.
I've mentioned this to you, but I've been watching some streamers play it, and it looks quite entertaining, and almost so entertaining that I want to play it myself. Which is
Jacob, it would
rare.
be a heck of a let's play to watch you play that game just with me alongside you. I would love to see your reactions to playing it.
I'm not opposed to doing that.
Yeah,
it would be really funny if we could
like spending a lot of time in Atlanta recently. Just come on over one day.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get together for a podcast and knock out a let's play.
I love that idea. Maybe next week.
Maybe, yeah.
No promises, of course, but maybe.
Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, you haven't been in Atlanta, so haven't been able to come.
I should be here this weekend. I have no reason to leave this weekend, so.
Well, let's plan for it then.
Yeah, we'll stick a pin in that one. The only other game I played this past week was the Avengers beta. And this is prior to the public beta going live, so I don't know what improvements they've made to the public version because I haven't played it. But I'm not going to share my in-depth thoughts on the beta because I did so on COG's YouTube channel. If you guys are interested, that video is on their YouTube channel, just me breaking down everything from the beta and my thoughts on every specific aspect, like the story, some of the story you get, the characters, of course, how they all feel to play, how I felt about some of the levels, the leveling system, the loot system, your perks and abilities, the gear system, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of layers to it. But so far, it is exactly what I feared it would be, which is initially I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, the combat doesn't feel amazing. It isn't very fluid. It feels kind of janky and heavy. But I can see where this could be pretty fun with a team of players. And after about 6 hours, it was agonizing how bored I was. And that was my fear going into this game was this looks cool. And like, especially the trailers and the war table they released prior to the beta going live, which admittedly makes the game look way smoother than it actually is. Because even I played on PlayStation 4 Pro and I even played in performance mode, which is close to 60 FPS. That game lags like crazy when enemies gang up on you. And in their defense, like I understand it's a beta and they have till the 4th. Well, really not until the 4th because reviewers, myself included, will probably be getting codes for that in the next. It's got to be in the next week, I imagine. And it's going to be a really interesting review because, I think this is all under embargo. I'm not going to say anything more about the review in particular, but the method of how we're reviewing this is unlike anything I've ever had to do before. And I've been doing game reviews now for about 3 years. So that's kind of surprises me to say, like, I've never had to review a game like this. And it's not because of the pandemic, believe it or not. So we're going to be really interesting. And I'm pretty sure we can talk about that when the reviews go live. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everyone reacts to this. But the public beta, good things are, I was never bored playing as any of the characters. I think all the characters in the beta that I played the most of, obviously you can play as like the mainline Avengers in the opening story mission they let you play on the San Francisco or Golden Gate Bridge. So I didn't get to play enough of Cap and Thor to be able to say that they're a ton of fun, but even just briefly, they felt like they were really good. But out of Kamala, Black Widow, Iron Man, and Hulk's definitely my least favorite, but they're all in their own right pretty fun to play. Black Widow's my favorite. I think I say in my video, it's just very satisfying to have her dual-wielding handguns. I think you can do like submachine guns at some point if you upgrade them.
That's cool.
The way she traverses these arenas and environments is a lot of fun. She has a grapple hook that she can not only swing with, like Spider-Man swinging on webs, but she can use it to pull herself toward enemies. So it's pretty cool to swing off of like a pole and then latch yourself onto an enemy and fly across the arena and start attacking them. And her super is pretty cool. At least her base, like default super, is that she attaches her batons together and it becomes like this energized bow staff thing. And that's pretty cool. She can turn invisible as well. So she's really cool. I'm not going to go in depth on all the characters. Kamala, Miss Marvel, was surprisingly fun to play as. She's my second favorite by far.
Yeah.
I think the main positive so far, the story missions, although very brief, you only get a tiny little slice of the story in the beta. The writing is decent. All the animations are very strong. Visually, the game is very pretty. Textures, lighting, animations are strong, but I still think the art style, they could have pushed it even further to make it more interesting and really make it stand on its own.
So the game looks good, but it just doesn't perform well.
It does perform well until you get in heavily populated areas.
Okay.
So like little skirmishes with groups of enemies, which is predominantly what you're doing, it's very smooth in performance mode. And even in the 4K mode, I didn't really have any problems. But in Warzones in particular, when like 20 plus enemies gang up on your squad, it starts to lag pretty badly. Mm-hmm. But the moment to moment stuff is exactly what you expected to. I mean, it's literally Destiny meets Avengers. All the systems are almost entirely the same. To the point where I call it derivative because I think it is. And I only say that because they don't really innovate too much on that formula, which I do believe that formula makes sense for this type of game with like an ensemble superhero game, but they don't really bring anything, as far as I'm aware in the beta at least, they don't bring really anything new to the table. So the hub world's kind of cool. I don't get to see it in its full glory yet because they had a lot of it stripped away for the beta. But the helicarrier is sort of the tower like from Destiny, and you can run around the helicarrier and do these things called harm missions, which are training simulations. There will be vendors in the helicarrier when you play the actual game. The only problem is like I can't imagine the vendor selling anything remotely interesting because initially in my breakdown of this beta and the video I did, I thought I liked the system until I watched IGN's video of why they don't like it. It made more sense to me and kind of like changed my perspective. So the current system is the gear does not reflect your appearance at all.
Yeah.
So your gear could be all these different materials and attachments that don't affect your appearance. So your appearance is just a skin you choose, which can be some people may love that. Some people may hate it. Initially, I was like, oh, that's great. I can be classic Iron Man and all the gear I equip doesn't affect my appearance. That's kind of cool. But I think a lot of the fun for me in games like this, which I really haven't invested that much time in beyond Destiny 1, like Destiny 2, I fell off very early. There's just something about these looter shooters or looter slashers, and they're calling this a looter brawler. They just don't grip me for some reason, and I don't know why that is. But I thought I would like that. I think what I liked about Destiny is that whenever you're getting a new piece of gear, it changes your appearance. And Preston made a great point when I talked to him about this. These games really are all about flaunting your gear. Like, look at the weapon I unlocked. Look at the armor I earned defeating this boss or doing this raid or this strike, blah, 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 blah. It really is like a bragging rights type of experience. Very similar to MMOs in some ways. And this game doesn't feature that.
So why do you think you like something like, I know this isn't a looter shooter, but Diablo 3, when you played that, you really enjoyed it. And I think you like the gear, right? Like,
yes, but so that gear also, on one hand, not only does that gear change your appearance, but you can also manipulate that gear to make it how you want it. For example, I think what would be great about this game, which they'd have to entirely change the system, which could take upwards of a year or more, I bet, just to bring that change to the game, which I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, if this game actually stays afloat over the next year or so, that they'll make that change. But in Diablo, for example, let's say I equip a headpiece that I don't think looks very cool. You can keep those attributes of the better headpiece, but obviously make it look like one you actually like the aesthetic of.
Yeah.
I think they should do that with this game, because even if you have like the wackiest looking Iron Man based on the gear you've equipped, and just either throw on a full skin if you prefer that, or make your wacky looking gauntlet you don't like look like a different one. But I think that would ultimately not only be more satisfying in the long run, that would also make it more enjoyable for players, because every single character you see, your Iron Man may look completely different from someone else's Iron Man. Mm-hmm. Which I guess that isn't that big of a deal, because no two players in a squad at any time can play as the same character. You can't have a whole squad of Iron Men or a whole squad of Black Widows. Each character has to be different. So I do think that's a big plus for me, is that although I haven't fallen in love with the gameplay loop, it does encourage you and borderline force you to play as every single character and level them all up together. Because that way, when you're going into quick matches or playing with friends, if someone has the highest level Iron Man and you want to play as Iron Man, you got to have at least a backup character to roll with someone at the same level. So that's a plus. But like I said, the combat is pretty janky. You can lock on to characters, but the first page of upgrades you can unlock in the beta, they took off the second two pages. So maybe the later abilities are more interesting, but the first page to me for all the characters hardly changed the combat. I mean, there's a couple button combinations you can do, and like some super attacks they add to your arsenal, but it just doesn't feel that good to punch things. I mean, there's a lot of good feedback in the controller when you're punching things, but I'm going to be reviewing on PC, so I won't have that rumble feature. So that's really what made Hulk and Iron Man and all of them feel strong, was like those really intense rumble effects in the controller.
Yeah.
But like the damage you inflict on these enemies, it doesn't look like you're doing much until you kill them and they explode. Mm-hmm. So the feedback of what you're doing doesn't feel very good to me.
Yeah.
It functions. That's the good thing. The game functions and does what it's supposed to do. It just isn't all that interesting. Mm-hmm. Is it cool that we have an Avengers game? Absolutely. I hope the story's awesome. That's a major plus. But the systems so far have not gripped me, and they have not blown my mind in any way.
Yeah.
And it seems pretty unanimous. I mean, I watched, I think, nearly every outlet's reaction to this, and I think everyone's kind of in the same boat of it's okay, but it's not anywhere near amazing right now.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's what people expected too. I'm not really surprised by hearing any of this, to be honest. I guess I'm a little disappointed, but not like entirely. Like this just looks okay to me. I like initially I thought it looked kind of cool when we got that. What are they calling these? Like the war table, whatever these streams they're doing
updates.
Yeah. So I'm glad you got some hands on with it, so I can get a little more insight to what's going on, because I wasn't going to look at any of these reviews. So I'm glad you were here to tell me about it. But I did want to mention one thing. I don't think you put it as a story, but Sony did confirm, I think last week, that Spider-Man is going to be a DLC character, and he's going to be exclusive to the PlayStation version. Yeah. So you said you're reviewing it on PC. Mm-hmm. So that means you won't get to play as Spider-Man. Does that upset you, or do you care at all?
Yeah, a couple thoughts on that.
Because if I was going to get the game, I would get it on PlayStation because of Spider-Man.
Oh, totally. So would I. If I had the choice to review at this point, and the problem is that once I review this, I don't anticipate wanting to play it beyond the review, to be perfectly honest. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man's not coming until next year.
Oh, really?
So,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's not until 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I can't imagine, unless this game just blows my mind when I play the full version and they continue to iterate upon it in very impactful, positive ways as the game goes on. And if their community remains, there's a chance I might want to play it then. But I doubt I'm going to be willing to buy the game just to play Spider-Man. But a couple thoughts on that. I pinned a comment on my video because I knew people would want to, because unfortunately that news broke right before the beta impressions embargo lifted. So I knew many people just love to complain. So whether they're on PlayStation or not, I feel like people would complain about that just because they love to complain. So I pinned a comment, which I meant when I said, I was like, it's certainly not necessarily a good thing, and it probably won't help the game succeed because it will alienate a lot of players. I was surprised by how many comments I received saying many of them said they planned to play on Xbox because that's where all their friends were, but they said it really bummed them out that they couldn't play as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but from a consumer's perspective, I align with what people say. Like, this is bad for consumers. I get that, but at the end of the day, everything's a business. It's all about money. Very few companies and publishers, I imagine, truly care about the feelings of their consumers. It really is all about their dollar. Unfortunately,
I think you have to a certain extent to get their money, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, to appear to care.
Which I'm not offended by. Like, I get it completely. So from a business perspective, like, Sony is like not pulling their punches. The closer we get to the launch of this next generation, dude, they are punching harder and harder. Mm-hmm. And Preston said he was listening to the Kind of Funny podcast, and the guy who formerly worked for Game Informer said something along the lines of, if you think this is a gnarly exclusive situation for PlayStation, you haven't seen anything yet, because apparently he has all this insider information of other things they have planned that they haven't even announced yet. And he said, if you think this is intense, just wait, because they're just getting started. So that's something that is interesting. I love breaking down the marketing strategies for Sony and Microsoft, because they obviously have completely different goals. But PlayStation continues, and I'm not saying this from a fanboy's perspective, all jokes aside, but they continue to push PlayStation as being the ultimate place to play these games, because even if we're talking about third-party titles, they have a third-party title with an exclusive character in it. Granted, Sony owns the rights to like Spider-Man video games and films and everything, but that alone is just another reason like why people would want to at the very least consider PlayStation over Xbox.
Yeah.
We won't go down that rabbit hole of a
if you want to get the full experience,
right? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Xbox getting an exclusive character. The only thing that could counteract PlayStation with Spider-Man would be Xbox getting an exclusive character like Wolverine or something. Which I think would be pretty sick. I think Wolverine would plug right into that game just based on the way it functions. I think it'd be sick. But that remains to be seen. Just X-Men in general would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you have to imagine they're going to add a lot of characters to that game.
Definitely,
if it succeeds.
Here's the last major plus I'll talk about that I really did genuinely have a lot of fun with. The Warzone mission that they have in the beta, which I've heard there are dozens of Warzones in the full game, was most similar to a Strike in Destiny. And I played both single player and multiplayer. And multiplayer, I think, is where the game really started to shine for me, because of course, we're all playing as different characters, and you go through multiple waves of enemies, you complete multiple objectives, you fight multiple bosses, and at the end, you fight one big final boss that has several phases and all these different weak points you got to attack with your respective characters. And the most fun I had is when the main weakness, of course, is its head. It falls to the ground for a few seconds, and all of us have to choose to combine our respective supers and ultimates and power-ups to all like really drill into this thing at the same time. And those moments of communication and using these Avengers to accomplish defeating that boss really was cool. And that was by far the highlight of the beta for me, of just the gameplay experience. And I believe that's where the most potential for the game lies. I mean, if the game would fire on all cylinders like that Warzone experience does, with the majority of its content, then it'd be great. Especially if they just continue to add Marvel characters to the game over time. Like, this game really does have potential to shine. But some of the weaker stuff, I think the missions are called drop zone. Yeah, they're called drop zones. Those are, I see why they're there. They're really there to grind and like level up characters as quickly as possible. But they're just very anticlimactic. You drop into an area, you can beat them sometimes in under 5 minutes if you're leveled up high enough. So you drop into an area, fight a bunch of enemies, and it just ends. Like, few of them have like a final boss fight or some big main objective. You just drop in, fight some enemies, and it just ends instantly. Those were the least amount of fun by far. I won't talk about it anymore. I'm talking about this way more than I thought I would. Just thinking about it has me pondering like the good things and bad things. Yeah. But
well, I hope everyone has enjoyed this as much as I have. This is really informative for me. So.
Yeah, and again, if you guys want to hear more about, if you even care what I have to say, but if you want to hear more, my like in-depth, like full-on breakdown is on COG's YouTube channel. But I will be reviewing it as well. Obviously, the embargo, I imagine, will lift, if not a week before the 4th, very close to that. So you will hear my thoughts in the full version in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that opportunity as well, as always, in spite of how I feel about it now. And I'm not going to, I always go into reviewing something from I'm trying not to be biased about how I feel about it now, because I'm hoping that the game really does blow me away in the full version, but that remains to be seen.
Uh-huh.
That's all I played this week, Jacob. You want to talk about the news?
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Nightwire Episode 2. Have you seen it?
No, but I watched some clips.
Okay, cool.
I watched the what was it, the Samurai Band one, and
Johnny
I watched
Silverhand's band.
Yeah, which is cool.
Those tunes surprisingly sounded pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
I don't know why I'm saying
they,
surprisingly, but
yeah,
I actually enjoyed that breakdown of what they're doing with the music.
Yeah, I liked that in the video where the guy was like correcting how to say like the words in. I guess it was because what is his name? Johnny English or whatever.
Johnny English.
What's his name?
Johnny Silverhand.
Johnny Silverhand. That was close. Yeah, he would like say that. Oh, that's not how Johnny would say that word. You need to pronounce it this way. But because they were like Swedish, you know, it was weird for them, and they like found themselves getting aggravated. I thought that was kind of cool because they were instead of like just putting a song into a game, they were pretending to be a different band in a game, which I thought was an interesting perspective because it's not really something that a band would have to deal with in, you know, a modern day or like any other project you would be doing for anything else. So I thought it was pretty cool to see that.
I think it's just another testament to CD Projekt Red's attention to detail and the care and love they've put in and passion they've clearly put into this project because it's been in development for so long, delayed several times. And if that's just, it's very clear when you see the game in action that they put a lot of care into the game. But if that's just one aspect of the level of detail they put into these characters and the world they've established, then we have so much to look forward to.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, how many songs did these guys work on for this band?
I'd love if it was like a full album. Like you could like stream the album on Spotify or something.
I bet you it would be. I'm expecting a minimum of like 5-6 songs.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, I also watched the gunplay video.
That video was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hadn't seen like the hands-on like actual gameplay demo footage they released in the previous episode or like the previous preview they did with a bunch of influencers and outlets looked good, but something about this trailer like really got me hyped for the combat in the game.
The shotguns look brutal, dude.
Yeah, I mean all the weapons look very cool in their own ways. Mm-hmm. And as far as I'm aware, you can upgrade these weapons too and change the perks and looks of them and everything. Yeah,
I was a little disappointed with the I think it was what was it, like a burn saber or like a heat saber?
The katana that looks like it's like a lightsaber.
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be like a little more like, if you cut someone with a lightsaber, you see like the heat for the cut from the cut. Yeah, I would like to see that a little more. I know it's such like a minor gripe, but I think that would be something cool to encourage someone to use it more. I think the smart guns, those are pretty cool. I hope the ammo is sort of limited for those because
I bet they are.
They seem a little OP.
Mm-hmm. Probably OP for very desperate situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just aim anywhere and you're gonna kill your target. So
yeah,
but yeah, all the guns seem fine. I don't really feel like we got a lot of like gun sound effects because they were sort of playing this song over the video, but it looked fine. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. We just saw a few of the different weapon types. But yeah, I mean, the gunplay looks good, honestly. Do you have anything to add?
No, not really. The melee in general looks relatively weak in the game, but this trailer definitely looks better than like the fist fight we saw in the previous gameplay demo. Mm-hmm. But I like those, like the arm blades you can get. I can't remember the name of them, but
it's like those like claws that come out of your arm.
You can. What's the word I'm looking for? The cyberpunk term.
They're cybernetics,
maybe. But all the cybernetic upgrades you can add to your character, dude.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the gorilla arms that make your punches really hard.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like those arm blades though. I think I'm gonna upgrade to those. Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, we got the Life Paths trailer. I know we've kind of mentioned this I thought we had already seen this, but they kind of showed a brief trailer for each of the respective paths at the beginning. So Nomad, Street Kid, Corporate. I'm bouncing between Nomad, and Street Kid. Pretty sure I'm still going to do Street Kid, but Nomad looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so what are those?
The life paths you choose at the beginning of the game, like where you start.
Yeah. So what is Nomad?
Nomad's when you start in the outskirts in the desert.
Oh, okay. Okay, Corporate's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know what I'll choose. It's kind of a tough choice because it's gonna decide how you experience the whole game, right? So I don't know. If you're gonna do, you said Street Kid, right?
Yeah, probably.
I might do the Corporate one. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned that last time too.
Yeah, I think that.
What
could
about
be exciting.
Corporate appeals to you?
I don't know. See, I don't know how the story's gonna play out, so it's hard to sort of like say why I would think it's appealing, but I would assume like I don't know, you sort of fall from grace. You're working in this, you're like maybe a big wig in this company, and you sort of fall into the wrong crowd, and you know stuff goes south. Or maybe if because you're from this corporation, you have access to other things that you wouldn't otherwise in the game. I don't know.
That's what I imagine for each life path is that they have, like, I imagine the story for the most part follows the same journey. But you may have access, like you said, to different groups of people or resources depending on which path you choose.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a branching story, so it can go a number of ways. But I imagine like the main arcs follow a similar structure. I don't know, but they could be completely different for all we know.
Yeah.
Which makes replayability extremely high for a game that I imagine we're going to spend many hours in to begin with.
God.
I'm attracted to Street Kid, like I said before. The Jason Todd aspect of that appeals to me. So,
yeah. I don't know. I'm not willing to make a judgment on what path I'm going to take yet. It's too early.
I know. I've said that kind of stuff in the past before, and I get to the day, and I have a change of heart. So we'll see when I actually jump into the game. Yeah. But it continues to look awesome. November 19th really will be here before we realize it. I mean, we are flying through this year. Not that I want life to fly by in the blink of an eye, but for a game like that, I'm willing for it to tread along relatively quickly because the game looks very cool. So, pretty freaking stoked, dude. Jacob, Rocksteady is officially working and has been working on a Suicide Squad game, which was suspected for a while. I know that was rumored for a bit, but it is now more or less confirmed. Rocksteady released that image of Superman with the target on his head, says Suicide Squad. I'll read this brief little article here. I imagine most people have seen it by now, but in case you haven't, it comes from Wesley Yin Poole on Eurogamer. He says Rocksteady has confirmed earlier that it is, or confirmed in earlier I can't even read anymore. Eurogamer report that it is working on a Suicide Squad game. In a tweet showing an image of a decrepit-looking Superman with a target on his head, the Batman Arkham developer revealed the Suicide Squad game will be announced on the 22nd of August during the DC Fandom event. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, I guess. So we just talked about another ensemble game, Avengers. This is assumed to be an ensemble game, with it being Suicide Squad. I know one of the domains previously registered was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So I think the assumption is that if we are playing as the Suicide Squad, we're hunting down the Justice League, which is a very bold take. It is. If that is the case. But let's just try to break down what our expectations are for this, what we think it may be, and what our hopes are for a Suicide Squad game. Yeah. So all we have is the image, correct? Correct. And we know that's what they're going to be talking about. It's hard to say what I would really want from this, because I think I mentioned this to you. This idea of a game doesn't necessarily excite me, just knowing like what it's about, or like knowing that it's about the Suicide Squad. But I'm also a guy that's not crazy into superheroes or the Suicide Squad themselves. So maybe that's just me putting like my blinders on and being like, I really don't want to play another superhero game. But, obviously it has potential, right? Because we don't get a lot of games where we play as
the villains, let alone like a group of villains that are like as renowned as the Suicide Squad. So I think just on that note alone, it has potential to be pretty exciting. Wouldn't you agree? Like it might be tough to pull off or create enough interest because we're not playing as a hero, but it's a new idea at the very least. I think just the idea of like playing as the Joker is pretty exciting to me. And maybe we're like completely wrong. Maybe this is like a Justice League game. It's just called Suicide Squad for some reason. Or maybe you can play as both sides, and like I really have no idea. No one does, but yeah. Honestly, it's kind of hard to say what I would think is exciting for this, because I don't know. Like just as I said, I don't really. I'm not crazy about superhero games, so it's sort of hard for me to speculate like what I would want and what would be exciting for me. But I know you're a big fan of Batman and Spider-Man, obviously. So, what do you think you want from this game, if you would have to predict?
Man, that's the challenge. Is that I don't know, because, not to backtrack too much, but it's already surprising enough that Crystal Dynamics of all studios are the ones tackling an ensemble superhero game for Marvel, which on one hand is deserves some sort of positive recognition or applause, because that is a extreme jump from Tomb Raider. Like, it's night and day, completely different. So what they have accomplished is already impressive in and of itself. But Rocksteady, I have no reason not to trust that they're not going to crank out something amazing.
That's a good point. Yeah, this is coming from Rocksteady, so we should expect something pretty cool, because they spent a lot of time making Batman, and those games are very good.
Yeah, and
obviously, at least combat-wise, right?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, the combat is strong, but it is super simple at the same time.
Yeah, but I think that's why it's good, though. Like, I've always really liked.
I think the world
Batman.
building and art design is brilliant in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean by like interesting art design. Like it's sort of comic booky. It's not overly realistic,
Yeah. Now, I wonder if they'll finally address the issue of there never being anyone in Gotham or Arkham. Like, are there going to actually be people in this Suicide Squad game? Are we going to see a living, breathing town? Or are they all inside again? Is it Christmas Eve again?
Right. I know we had our issues with a few of the aspects of Arkham Knight, but for the most part, and Preston reiterated this when I talked to him, because he had played most of it again not too long ago for fun, and he stands by that it is still a tremendous superhero game, just video game in general, in spite of the many issues it had. So I trust that Rocksteady is, obviously they've been working on this for a long time. I trust this idea they wouldn't just pursue if it wasn't a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Suicide Squad already inherently suggests it's an ensemble game. And as I just mentioned, I've never been that big of a fan of ensemble type video games. That's why I never played Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm sure those games are fun, but those types of games just have not been for me. And if you're playing as a squad of Suicide Squad members, and I highly doubt it's like the Avengers or like Destiny. I can't imagine Rocksteady taking that approach, because I know Destiny presently has evolved in huge ways compared to how it used to be. But I feel like the original Destiny formula, which is what's practically in Avengers, is kind of outdated at this point. I feel like those types of games have grown tremendously since the beginning. So I doubt Rocksteady would just take that Destiny approach and apply it to Suicide Squad. But like I said, the name alone suggests it'd be a multiplayer experience. I know there are rumors that it may be a live service game or a games as a service or whatever, which kind of unsettles me.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather them tackle another, even if it's just another DC character or another standalone solitary experience following one character versus an ensemble experience. But like you said, it could be a Suicide Squad game or Justice League game in disguise. Maybe you're playing as the Justice League, Batman included, but it doesn't seem to be the case. At least Superman's going to be in the game. And another question is this the same Arkham universe they established, or is it just a whole new take on DC?
Yeah. Maybe this is secretly a superhero game. Or a Superman game.
Maybe. Because he is on the poster.
I'm just struggling to think, like, how do you make a Suicide Squad game? And Because you would assume that they would come out on top at the end, right? Or maybe they don't. Maybe that's how it will work. I don't know.
I wouldn't put it past Rocksteady to explore a DC story where the villains do win.
Yeah, are we going to kill all these superheroes?
There's a lot of dark stuff in the Arkham games.
Yeah. But are those rated R? They're not, right?
You mean rated M?
Yes.
Arkham Knight was, yeah. The first two are not.
Okay. I don't know. It'd just be weird to kill all these heroes, right? Not that I would be against it. It would be different.
It would be different, but many comic lines have, and I never pretend to be an expert on comics, but I know for a fact certain runs in comics, both on Marvel and DC, have had villains defeating heroes and stuff, and sometimes killing them. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. What would I want? Here's a question. Who would you want on your Suicide Squad? Because this team has evolved many times over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harley Quinn's a given. She'll be there. I think Deadshot will be there. Joker, maybe. He's kind of like that loose cannon character.
Listen, Joker's got to be there.
I think Joker will be in the game. It'll be interesting to see if Mark Hamill returns again.
Dude.
Or if they just get Troy Baker to do it, because he actually did a pretty good job.
I want Mark Hamill.
If Kevin Conroy will be back. I can't imagine Kevin Conroy turning down a Justice League video game role as Batman.
Yeah.
So
Did he play the Arkham Batman?
He played, Arkham Batman and animated series Batman. He's like the most renowned voice of the character.
Yeah. Okay.
But what would I want gameplay to be like? Because I can't, in a Suicide Squad game, you can't just have all the characters play as simply as Batman did in those games. Mm-hmm. I know he has all of his gadgets and everything and like a couple of combos here and there, but more or less it's just punch, 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 dodge, punch, the end.
Yeah, that's the thing about this, like a Suicide Squad game. You have to spend time putting care into each one of these characters if you are going to play as all of them.
Definitely.
And that's a lot of work.
Just like we talked about with Avengers. So,
yeah, I don't know if it would be on that scale. Like each character has like a full blown talent tree and like each one has unique abilities. Like, I don't know if they'd go that far.
I would almost hope that Rocksteady focuses more on the world and the story more so than just a super in-depth live service type gameplay experience. I mean, obviously you have to have good gameplay. Otherwise it's all completely pointless. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping it's not quite as deep as Avengers, which makes it sound like that could be a bad thing. We need a more shallow gameplay experience. I don't mean that, but I hope it just isn't Destiny applied to DC, just like Destiny applied to Avengers is, you know?
Yeah. I'm like sitting here trying to think of what would make this exciting for me. Because like, I was like thinking maybe you play as a different squad member and each one of them are going to kill a different superhero.
Right. And it kind of is maybe like a mini open world experience for each character.
Right. But then like you would assume like you would have a party or something. Like surely they wouldn't each be alone every time you go on a mission. And like, do we think Rocksteady can make like good party gameplay, or like how does that even work in this kind of game? Like I don't know. Like, cause I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat similar to the Batman games. Maybe
it's different for heroes, because for example you can fight a bunch of gangs of goons. For example, gangs of goons, you can fight gangs.
Yeah, who would you be fighting?
And villains, minions. But would you just be fighting a bunch of cops?
Yeah, that's a good point.
SWAT team members, if you're playing as villains leading up to these main heroes.
How is this gonna work?
I don't know. That's why I'm very excited to see it revealed on the 22nd, because I'm
not sure this is even going to be a Suicide Squad game.
And the problem is also they said it's going to be just merely a tease. Like it's definitely not coming till next year. So
I bet you this is a Superman game. I'm calling it.
I'm hoping that the trailer they show us, I mean, obviously the dream is they'll show us gameplay, which I'm not going to hold my breath for, but let's hope the trailer gives us some sort of idea, or at least they explain after the fact what type of game we can expect, because we've been waiting so long. I mean, it's one thing to see what it is, but you got to know what you'll be playing to get truly excited.
Yeah. What if they throw us a curveball and it's just a complete narrative experience? Like you don't even fight anything. You just press it's like quick time action buttons.
Yeah, that would never happen with Rocksteady.
What if it did though?
It won't.
Think of like a Telltale's Batman, huh? You want that again?
I
almost forgot about
not
Telltale.
From Rocksteady.
Just give them a chance, man. Maybe they can change the medium.
No, we're definitely giving him a chance with a game called Suicide Squad and Superman on the cover with a target on his head. So I'm not worried about it at all, but I'm very curious. I'm just curious.
I just really wanted them to make the Harry Potter game. And I know it was like it seemed like they never were, but yeah, I don't know. That's all I want. I want the Harry Potter game.
Well, I don't know if we'll get the Harry Potter game at the DC Fandom event, obviously, but I've heard rumors that the new Batman game from WB Montreal finally, like the Court of Owls Batman game, is supposed to be revealed. They've been teasing that since the beginning of the year. So I look forward. Right now, I'm more looking forward to seeing what that is than the Suicide Squad game, just based on title alone. And because I think Montreal's Batman game, which we've talked about, was incredibly underrated. Definitely not nearly as good as the total package of any of the Arkham games, or at least any of Rocksteady's Arkham games, but it really had some strong aspects, particularly in character, and the story of that game was really strong. So
both of these studios have been very weird about like releasing like details. Like what has been up with like all these like Batman little teases throughout this year?
I think it's a WB thing. It's got to be a publishing thing.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like because it's just like I guess it's creating discussion, but I feel like people are just getting frustrated
because they tease it and they never reveal anything. So
and I feel like people are just getting pissed off because they're never saying anything. It's been like 7 months, and they're not saying anything. I mean, I guess they're finally going to now, but and then like I guess this last one was less frustrating because they actually announced an event of when they're showing it. But I don't know. It's just been weird. It's just I don't know. I don't understand the point.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got a teaser image or something, one more for the Batman game prior to the event on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Sometime before.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
But yeah, I can't imagine we can speculate on much more than what we've already shared.
I'm really struggling here.
But I look forward to it. That'll be here really soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this game is, because it has potential. As much as we're like sitting here baffled at what it could possibly be.
Right. Yeah. Fingers crossed for that one. From the same writer, Wesley Ian Poole of Eurogamer, he gives us information on Doom Eternal's Ancient Gods Part 1 expansion. It says id Software has revealed Doom Eternal's first single-player expansion, The Ancient Gods Part 1. In this DLC, which is part of the Doom Eternal's Year 1 pass, you will travel to new realms in the Doom universe and face new enemies. Expect a reveal in full during Gamescom opening night, live on the 27th of August. Cool. I'll definitely play some more Doom Eternal. I love Eternal. It's definitely in my running for Game of the Year, among a handful of others. And we still have many more to get, but it's definitely in probably my top 3 or 4 right now.
Yeah.
What do I hope from a Doom expansion? The Ancient Gods Part 1, I guess we're exploring more of those angelic, I can't remember what they're called, like the angel-like enemies from Eternal's main campaign.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. I mean, I really do enjoy the lore from id Software's 2016 Doom and Eternal, of course. And all I can hope for is just some more awesome arenas to explore, more collectibles to find, and more monsters to kill. Because I really love the game. I'll have to get back in the muscle memory of playing that game, because I was really good at it. By the time I finished the game, was playing through some of the what are those missions called?
Those like gates,
master levels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I completed all the gates as well, but really love playing through that. So I'm pretty stoked for this expansion.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll play it. I'm probably willing to say no. I enjoyed my time with Doom Eternal. Don't get me wrong, but is it something that I want to jump back into? Do I want to relearn the muscle memory? Yeah. Like, I feel like to do that, I would have to play through the game again to really like feel like I'm ready to jump into a DLC. I don't know if that team typically makes a lot of DLC. I don't know if they did for the first one. Forgive me, because I didn't play it until I guess several years afterwards. It took me a long time to actually get around to playing it. And I don't think there was ever a DLC for it. I never saw one. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I did enjoy playing it, so maybe it'll just depend like when it comes out, I guess, and what's going on. it's not like necessarily something I really, really want to do. Like, it's not like for me personally, it's probably not running. Am I running for game of the year? So it's not like something that I'm itching to play, but it could be fun. It's not something that I want to rule out before I even see it. So I think the idea of it's pretty cool. So we'll see.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see what it's all about on the 27th. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, it is cool that they're doing a DLC though.
Definitely. And the thing is that I feel like they have to keep that game even remotely alive, because the multiplayer, as far as I'm aware, has not, I can't even speak. Not too many people are playing on the multiplayer mode, which
I thought there wasn't
do think
a multiplayer.
An Eternal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Battle Mode.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one player places the... So you don't even know about it. That's not a good sign. One player plays as the Doomslayer and a few others play as demons.
Oh, okay.
And it's a unique mode, and I've seen people play it well, and it looks interesting, but it doesn't appeal to me.
Doesn't sound very exciting.
No, so as far as I'm aware, not too many people are playing that. So I think the story expansion makes the most sense for Eternal. At this point, I hope they make a third one. I know the game sold well, but it doesn't have a life beyond its initial launch period.
Yeah. I mean, most Bethesda games don't, right? I never thought as Doom as like a game that was like an ongoing...
In all fairness, very replayable. I mean, obviously there are multiple difficulties. There are a bunch of collectibles, and the master levels are a big part of replayability as well.
Even the first one was replayable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just never thought as Doom as... Like, it's just like a Wolfenstein to me, right? Like, you play through it once and, you experience it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I imagine it'll be cool. So I'm excited to see more of that.
Mm-hmm.
The new Call of Duty has been officially teased for a 14th reveal. So I think this Friday. Is that the 14th?
Yeah, Thursday.
Okay. This comes from Matt Kim of IGN. It's about time, too. It says, IGN received a mysterious crate from Activision that seems to be tied to a new Call of Duty. The crate, which contains a slideshow projector and slides, are part of an alternate reality game that leads to a website announcing a reveal for a new Call of Duty at 12 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, August 14th. Oh, it is Friday.
Oh.
What are you doing over there, Jacob?
Today's the 10th, though, right?
I'm looking at my calendar right now, I'll tell you. 14th is Friday.
Are you kidding me?
It says, last week Activision sent various members of the press crates with instructions not to open them until Monday, August 10th, which is today, is the day of recording this. However, even after opening the crates, there was still a mystery needed to be solved. Yeah, so Call of Duty apparently is being revealed on Friday. If it is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, I hate that name. It's so bad. And apparently Treyarch and Raven have been working on it, so
yeah,
we'll see. Supposedly Warzone will be included. I don't know if it's their take on Warzone or if they're just porting Warzone from Modern Warfare over to this, which would be odd because obviously Warzone and Modern Warfare 2019 were developed on a new engine, or at least an upgraded version of that engine that Infinity Ward had been using for a long time. And as far as we're aware, at least from what Preston shared with me, he's pretty certain that this Call of Duty is not using that engine. So I have no idea how that's going to work.
Yeah, so I assume they're going to have like a Black Ops update for Warzone. And what that entails, I have no idea. So I don't know where I saw this. I was on Twitter, but apparently there's an image. It's the what's the background picture on Twitter? It's like the header photo.
The banner?
Yeah, the banner photo. Thank you.
Banner.
The header, whatever it is. And it's like mountains from, people are speculating Blackout. So I don't think they're bringing Blackout back, but maybe they're making a new map for Warzone and they're using Blackout's map assets, maybe? I don't know. Could you see them maybe making a new map for Warzone? That could be pretty exciting.
I mean, the map, yeah, but I mean, you still have to have the same engine. If you're jumping from one engine to the other in the same game, that's going to be Modern Warfare 2019 feels more or less like every other Call of Duty, but it has new mechanics and things you can do.
Well, they've
looks completely
said
different too.
That they're going to, the new Call of Duties are going to be centered around Warzone. Warzone is going to keep persisting, and it's going to be a big part of Call of Duty going ahead in the future. So That's a good question. Like, does that mean the multiplayer is going to be in the same engine, or is the multiplayer just going to be completely separate from Warzone? Because
That might be the case.
I don't know, because that's weird, isn't it?
I know.
I guess it's
and
not.
imagine if it is like a Cold War game, but you could play Warzone as modern.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
maybe they apply the same features of Warzone to just their engine and their version of Warzone. That would be really weird and it also wouldn't make sense because it's two entirely different experiences. So I hope we're wrong about the engine discussion. I hope that they are using the same engine because
what if they do just use the same engine?
Well, I hope they do because Modern Warfare 2019 is light and days more impressive to me than any Call of Duty that came before it. So it's going to be weird to go back to how it was before.
That's usually how it goes, though. Like every Call of Duty has a better and better engine, or at least every few years.
Modern Warfare 2019 is objectively like the biggest leap they've made mechanically by far, and art design and everything, animations, sound design. Like it is so impressive in comparison to everything that came before.
Yeah.
So it'd be weird to just backtrack to how it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. This is tough.
We'll know on Friday what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I'm expecting a cold. I'm guessing it's going to be Black Ops Cold War, just from what we've heard. I think we're going to get a campaign. We'll see how good it is. Treyarch doesn't have a good track record with campaigns over the
last
Black Ops
years. They have had some in the past. I mean, Black Ops 1 is one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns.
Yeah, see, I didn't play Black Ops 1, so I don't.
Black Ops 1 is awesome. Black Ops 2 is half decent as well, but 3 and 4
I remember playing 2.
Not good.
It was okay. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember not having a bad time. So, I don't really know. It's hard to say. Let's just wait and see what happens.
Again, we'll see very soon. We'll see on Friday. So.
I'm quite confident that Warzone is going to be a big part of this game, though.
Makes sense. I can imagine Activision wants to keep that around. So
there's no way they're leaving it behind. There's no way.
The only problem they face is that Modern Warfare is just leaps beyond everything that came before. So hopefully Treyarch and Raven are using the same engine. We'll know very soon. Mm-hmm. Jacob, you mind bringing us in on the PS4/5 State of Play recap? I gotta grab a drink real quick.
Sure. What do you want me to do? You want me to read the article?
Just share your thought. I didn't watch the State of Play.
I didn't either.
Dang it. Preston told me that Crash Bandicoot 4 looks awesome. Even the initial reveal trailer for that looked great to me, so I definitely intend on playing that.
Yeah. I didn't watch this because it was a PS4 State of the Play, and I...
Right.
The Godfall
in-depth gameplay demo they showed, I was bored in the first 10 seconds. I'm not even exaggerating. I was so bored.
Have you ever not been bored watching Godfall gameplay?
No, and Preston told me he watched the majority of it and said he said it looks okay, but it doesn't look mind-blowing by any means.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these headlines, and the only one that looks anywhere near somewhat important is Vader Immortal, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
But
nothing else really sticks out from that. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 rumors because that's a lot more fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
So supposedly a PlayStation 5 announcement is coming later this month. Hopefully it finally is the price because I think at this point PlayStation's doing so well in so many areas that just go ahead and release the price. Who cares if the Xbox is cheaper? I mean, Xbox games for the foreseeable future will be on all their consoles anyway. So I think it's safe to assume more PlayStation 5s will sell than Xbox Series X, at least initially.
I almost feel like the Xbox needs to be cheaper to even have a
chance.
Not even a chance, just like to even be just thought of in the same light.
Yeah, and again, like we realize they have different goals. They're probably not even that concerned about. They want people to buy the Series X, of course, but they're not even that concerned about console sales when they have this amazing subscription service in Xbox Games Pass. And it's funny. I think PlayStation may or may not pursue something similar down the road because I don't know if you've noticed on PlayStation 4, they've begun advertising PlayStation Now on like your main bar.
I didn't know
that. May be them like, oh, we kind of have a Game Pass thing too. Not nearly as prevalent or consumer friendly as, or even really as functional as Game Pass right now. Yeah. But I could see Sony pursuing something like that down the road. But Obviously, Sony wants to sell consoles, Xbox wants to sell Game Pass. So I really doubt they're that concerned. But regardless of that, I think Sony should just go ahead and announce the price. And there's also a rumor that there's a black edition leaked online. My question to you, Jacob, is which one would you pre-order?
Is this a real question?
And this is just assuming that both units, if there are two units, are equally available.
If I have a choice, yeah, I'm getting the black. Like, come on, of course.
Yeah, I'd go black as well.
Good.
It
that
does.
Black
All the fan edits
good.
I've seen look so, especially if it's matte black, it looks awesome. The thing about the white is I had already kind of come around to the white. I'm like, I can deal with the white, especially the white controller. It's just, it feels fresh. It feels new. So that is exciting. But I think long term, I would like the black. I would just buy a white controller if I want a white controller. Because the console, remember, like you're never really look. I mean, you don't even look at the controller, but you rarely look at the console. So
yeah, at the end of the day, I do not care. I'm gonna get whichever one I can. But
same.
If I had a choice, it would be the black one. I think it looks a little sleeker.
It does. Yeah, I'm always going to choose black over white when it comes to hardware. Like especially the PS5 is assumed to be gigantic in comparison to PlayStation 4. So I don't want that big honking white thing like just gleaming in my living space. So.
Oh boy, I'm sorry, I'm tired.
They also announced that PlayStation 4 has sold over 112.3 million consoles, and that's impressive.
That's a lot of PS4s.
That is a lot of PS4s. So good for them. Hashtag not fanboys. Moving on to Xbox news.
Yep. So they've sold 2 million more since May.
Yeah,
that's crazy. 2 million more PlayStation 4s.
I mean, think about it. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima have come out in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's a good time to buy one. I mean, there's a lot of games to play.
The tail end of the generation, I assume PlayStation 4s are more affordable than ever.
Yeah, I have no idea. You would assume.
Anyway, from Nicole Carpenter of Polygon, the Halo Master Chief Collection will get Xbox PC crossplay in 2020. She says, as 343 Industries approaches its release date for Halo Infinite, it's still committed to updating the Master Chief Collection, its compilation of Halo games on Windows, PC, and Xbox. In particular, the developer said in an update on the Halo website that is looking to bring crossplay and keyboard and mouse support on Xbox and input-based matchmaking to the Master Chief Collection by the end of 2020. So, I actually had forgotten what input-based matchmaking meant, but thankfully in the article she states that means it will push to pair mouse and keyboard players with other mouse and keyboard players, controller with controller. I'm sure you can mix and match. For example, if I wanted to team up with Zach, he'd be on controller, I'd be on mouse and keyboard. Similar to Modern Warfare crossplay, it tends to pull people like that, but when you're mixing and matching with friends, any number of combinations can happen, which I think is cool that it can work both ways. This is a huge plus for me because I definitely, Halo has always been an Xbox series to me, and that's where my heart for the franchise lies. But I've loved it on PC, and I intend to play Halo on PC for the rest of my life, honestly. So as long as it's coming to PC, I'm going to play it there. And I've been waiting for this, and I understand why they've waited. They're waiting for all of the Halo games to be available on both platforms to enable crossplay. So yeah. Stoked for that. Hopefully it doesn't tank because I know 343 has made a lot of promises in the past that they've fallen through on. So
yeah, we'll see. A lot of trouble in the past.
At least they confirmed they're definitely doing it.
Yeah. This is good. Obviously, I've always been like skeptical as to whether I wonder if like PC Halo players can aim better than console Halo players, because Halo has always been on console. It's always been on the Xbox, right? So you have to wonder like, are people so good at console Halo at this point that they're just so good at aiming with those sticks that it doesn't even matter if someone uses a keyboard and mouse? Like, I've always wondered that, because what was the other game I was thinking this about? I was thinking of Call of Duty. Because I don't know, like, I guess it sort of happened with Fortnite too, but there's been these like little controversies of whether like the aim assist on console it's too powerful when you're like facing PC players, like so much so that it like overcompensates, like, or it gives you so much assist that it makes you just as good as PC players or even better, like in a game like Fortnite, for example. But this is an extreme example. But this was like a whole big thing in Fortnite. I don't even know how I know about this. Something on Twitter, I think. But yeah, it's been like a huge controversy. So I wonder if like which side of the Halo player base is better? Is it the PC players or is it the Halo players on Xbox that have been playing for years and years, where all the pros are, you would assume? And I think that's probably where the pro scene still is on Halo. It's probably on Xbox still, just because of where 5 was. And I don't even know the state of Halo esports, to be honest. Like, I don't know if they've gone back to Master Chief Collection or if they're on a Halo 5. I have no idea. It's never really been my thing. But back to the story here. I don't know why I went on that tangent. I'm sorry. What are we even talking about? Crossplay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair question, Jacob. Like Modern Warfare, for example, I haven't noticed if console players have just wiped the floor with me, but 9 times out of 10, any match of Modern Warfare I'm playing, I do pretty well. Yeah. And this is often when I'm playing with Zach, who is on controller, so I know I'm playing with console players. You can see that the icon and the lobbies of who's who.
I was going to ask that.
And as far as I'm aware, I haven't been just massacred by console players. At least
have you been dominating people, though? Do you feel like?
Every now and then, yeah. Not every match. I mean, I've always been a very moderately skilled Call of Duty player. The only game I've ever truly thrived in was Modern Warfare 2. But every other Call of Duty, I've just been competent and mostly have good matches. But I've not had any like just insane, I've been destroyed by console players in Modern Warfare. But like you said, it may be a different story in Halo. That's yet to be seen. I have no idea.
Yeah. So. Obviously, this is cool for Halo. I think this is something that everyone wants. I don't see why anyone would think this is a bad thing, especially since they have the input-based matchmaking, so you can literally change how you or who you want to match with, and it'll change. Like if you want to play with your friend on PC, you're on Xbox, you can do that. That's great, and hopefully it'll be coming to Halo Infinite too, I would assume.
Definitely,
but yeah,
great
news for Halo.
343 and Halo. If Halo isn't back to the forefront of highly populated multiplayer games after the launch of Infinite, then I don't know what else 343 could do. Because they've, over time, of course, it took them a long way to get here, but they've basically mastered the Master Chief Collection. It is in the best place it's ever been as far as the ways it functions. It will be crossplay by the end of the year, PC and Xbox, which is desperately needed, I think, to really pool and make the player base as large as possible. And Infinite is going to be free to play, as we know. So if Halo isn't one of the most played multiplayer experiences just across the board stepping into 2021, I don't know what else they could possibly do. Granted, the Halo community, especially the hardcore traditional community, I keep up with a lot of Halo YouTubers, and my thoughts on Halo from 343 more or less aligns with many of them. 343 still has dropped the ball in many aspects with Halo. They have not nailed a Halo experience just in its entirety yet. And to be fair, they're not Bungie. I mean, they did not invent Halo. They did not create it. So I don't fault them for that entirely, because they really are iterating on a beloved franchise that's been around for well over a decade.
I mean, not only have they like never really created an experience everyone like really loves, but they seem to drop the ball every time that they work on something. So I don't know. It's almost concerning to me. Like I don't really keep up with 343 very much, but I was reading someone asked Jason Schreier a question on Twitter. Like it was something about the controversies of 343 Industries, and he said he was looking into it, and I don't remember quite what he was. Yeah, it's like apparently like there's been a lot of workplace, like not like anything like sexual misconduct or anything like that, but apparently there's just been like a lot of problems over at 343.
Like poor leadership.
Yeah, something like that, or like just because they've been having so many problems like with the Halo franchise in general. Like it seems like every time they do something, like something's broken, or like I don't know, like just as a consumer, it always seems like the only thing they've worked on is Halo, and they've never quite nailed it. And they're finally at a point where Master Chief Collection is looking like a complete experience. Like it's taken what seems like a decade to finally get this in like the perfect condition that it needs to be. It's on PC now with almost all the games remastered or put on the PC version. There's going to be crossplay now. It just, I don't know. It just seems like a mess to me. Maybe that's just me. looking at it as someone who doesn't play Halo a lot. But I don't know, like maybe 343 just needs to do something else. Like we'll see how Infinite turns out for sure. But and I do hope it's good. I have high hopes for it, even with the somewhat disappointing reveal what they showed us at the conference. But yeah. I don't know. Just seems like 343 is struggling for whatever reason, just to put out quality products. I don't know, dude. I'm
That's
just
the thing,
saying
like,
words.
And we won't go on a huge 343 tangent. I think we talked about this last week too. I mean, they've put out quality stuff, but like just as a total package, there have been just many lacking aspects. And I do my best.
It's never really felt like Bungie, right? And that's like entirely expected to. Like, of course they're not.
In all
Bungie.
fairness, like I would hope it would be 343's Halo, and like I don't want it to be a carbon copy of what we had before, but I'm not even going to pretend to be a game designer. Like I say all the time, like I don't know what the answer is. I know that I wouldn't like sprint in the game. There are many arguments. I myself, including many other longtime Halo fans, can make arguments that are objectively correct about why Halo doesn't need sprint and clambering and all these extra animations. But that's one of many things 343 just continually disregards for some reason. But like I was about to say, I do my best not to draw too many assumptions. And especially just in general in life, but even like when it comes to video games, because I do believe assumptions can be very dangerous and damaging. But from an outsider's perspective, it just seems to me that 343 has remarkably poor leadership. And I think a shining example of that is the Halo Infinite reveal, because while the gameplay looks like it's going to be pretty fun, I mean, the presentation, it was such a poor representation of this game that who in their right mind, unless Microsoft forced them, would put that out with it being that unpolished. I mean, it's just foolish to me, because it did nothing but create concern and disappointment in many fans. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure many people are going to play it regardless of that, especially because it has free-to-play multiplayer, which I can't wait to see more of. But to me, it just screams poor leadership. And if like I've been off social media for a while, so I haven't read any headlines or anything about 343 and like whatever issues they may be facing, but it wouldn't be a surprise to me if it just came out and like we have very poor leadership here. Like no one's ever on the same page about anything, and that's probably why, in addition to facing the battles that a new engine I'm sure presents, they've not had leadership throughout the last 5 years developing Infinite. So not to mention what they've been doing with Master Chief Collection. I don't know.
Yeah. But hold on a second. I'm bringing up the tweet, I think. Sorry, one sec.
This better be good.
Okay. Oh, this is old. Dang it. Sorry, I'm stalling here. I never mind. This is just random threads. But yeah, he did say something on Twitter about it. I'll see if I can find it as we move on to the next story. What is our next story? I closed the notes accidentally. Oh, it's Animal Crossing. You want me to do this one?
Yeah. One sec. Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold over 22 million copies. That is insane. This is a Nintendo Life article written by Damian McFerrin. Nintendo's quarter one earnings report is out, and wait, quarter one? Is it really quarter one? Q1? Wouldn't it be one of the biggest pieces of news that Animal Crossing New Horizons has shipped an incredible 22.4 million copies since launch, which, lest we forget, was March, 4 months ago. To give some context, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe remains the system's biggest selling game with 26.74 million units, but that's been available since 2017. New Horizons launched this year, and in the time it has overtaken Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is almost 20 million, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 18.6 million, and Pokemon Sword and Shield at 18.2 million.
Man, they sell games, dude. That is amazing.
It's insane.
I mean, Animal Crossing news aside, 22 million is remarkable, but I didn't realize all of their first-party titles had sold that many copies.
I don't
That's
think PlayStation
crazy.
games sell anywhere near that much.
No, I think that what's the top selling PS4 game of the generation so far? Like I can't imagine it's beyond like 14 or 15 million.
In the I don't know.
Maybe Spider-Man
the
sold like
numbers.
17. I can't remember.
I think in the US it was God of War that had sold the most, if I remember correctly, or was it Spider-Man? What was that?
My guess would be Spider-Man.
Because we had that list last week, I think, where it said the top selling games, but it didn't tell us how many they sold.
List of best-selling
Let me see if we
PlayStation
still have
4
the
video
image.
games. We'll see if this is even correct. That's all.
Yeah, I deleted the image.
I'm not going to trust this Wikipedia article. Whatever, but that's still amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have never guessed that Animal Crossing would be the second best selling game on Switch. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I think it just came out at the perfect time. Like, I'm not.
Oh, it did. I mean, it's funny. They didn't even, of course, plan to release it at the onset of a pandemic, but the pandemic was definitely a contributor to that. I mean, Animal Crossing in general is a well-renowned franchise for Nintendo. But still, I mean, the pandemic undoubtedly contributed to that. Mm-hmm. And that's great for Nintendo, great for Animal Crossing. So it's kind of a shame. Like I said, the game didn't really grab me initially. Mm-hmm. If I put the time in, I'm sure I would have really enjoyed playing it, but I hardly played it. I think I maybe played a total of 10 hours. And I adored the original one, but it's one of those games, like, at the end of the day, all entertainment is pointless when you think about it. It really is just entertainment, but some entertainment you get more out of. For example, like a narrative-driven game, you get a great story out of. You get to witness amazing performances, and in the perfect package, you get an amazing gameplay experience as well. But Animal Crossing is one of the rare occasions where I feel like, as much as I enjoy the simplicity of just paying off my house and decorating it and terraforming my little island, at the end of the day, I'll play it for 6 hours and be like, what did I really accomplish? What did I get out of this? Not much. And same thing for Fall Guys. It's mindless fun that I can take in small doses, but Animal Crossing demands a lot more from you as a player. So that's why I didn't really get too invested. But sales, good for them. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. You think it'll pass Mario Kart 8? Garrett?
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of important messages out of nowhere. I think, how many what's 8 at right now?
It is at 26.7, and this one is or Animal Crossing's at 22.4.
Long run, I think it will outsell it. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely. I meant to mention that I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a fair amount actually over the weekend.
Oh yeah? Was Zach?
Not with Zach, with Kathleen. It's one of our friends, and she's really good friends with Zach's wife. Okay. But she and I raced, and she beat me fair and square. I used to, of course, like just completely outrace her and win every match, but I thought she was exaggerating. She had been practicing for a few months, and she beat me fair and square.
So she plays?
Yeah. I beat her 9 times out of 10, but there was one tournament where she outraced me and won. So
nice.
It was pretty cool. And we did play a little Halo 3 on Master Chief Collection as well.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, seriously. So it was good. You want to talk about BlizzCon while I respond to these messages real quick, Jacob?
I can.
Thanks.
Let's see what article you got here. So apparently there is going to be a 2021 BlizzCon, according to Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Let's see what this article says, gang. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have a lot of time this week to prepare the notes. So, we're sort of doing this on the fly, boys. But this article says, it was written by Craig Pearson, by the way. And he says that Blizzard has confirmed that they'll be hosting BlizzCon as an online event due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I remember back when they first announced this, they speculated, or they didn't speculate, but they said they might do a online BlizzCon due to COVID, like this article says. So it's good to see that they're actually going to do one in the early part of next year. So, because we weren't sure if they were going to, or they were just going to just not do anything. So as a Blizzard fan, this is cool. Back to the article though. The annual celebration of their games and communities was canceled this year with a suggestion that they'll be holding a virtual one in 2021. During a recent earnings call, Blizzard's president, J. Allen Brack, confirmed that it will be happening early 2021. Brack said, "We did announce that we will not be bringing the community together this fall, but we are planning on channeling the spirit of BlizzCon into a virtual event." Blah, blah, blah. There's still not a huge amount of detail about what's going to happen, just confirmation it's happening. BlizzCon has a virtual ticket for those who are unable to attend, so they're not in uncharted territory. So yeah, this is basically just confirming that there is indeed going to be an event. Not a big story, obviously, but as a Blizzard fan, I'm always itching for anything related to Blizzard, and in uncertain times, and without any new Blizzard games coming out this year. Besides, maybe Diablo Immortal. Garrett, let's hold out hope for that, because I know we're both really excited for Diablo Immortal.
Totally.
Totally. But yeah, this is cool, I guess. So we'll hear some Blizzard news. Besides, maybe they have confirmed that they're going to release Shadowlands, the next WoW expansion.
Are they going to show off some more Overwatch 2, perhaps?
Maybe at this BlizzCon. I would hope so. It's about time we hear about it.
What can they do differently from Overwatch 1 to separate it?
I don't know, dude. I was listening to a podcast today, and they said something really intelligent. They were just talking about how poorly managed Overwatch was compared to like all these other games that just surpassed it, like Fortnite. Like there's so many other games that are just so much more popular than Overwatch now. Like Overwatch was on top of the world back when it first came out. And then just sort of like over the years, it just sort of dwindled down, and now no one plays it anymore.
It's because Battle Royale cropped up and just became like the mainline popular multiplayer experience for a while.
Sure. Yeah, it's just, I think like the biggest problem was they were just very slow to address community feedback. Like that's why I left the game, if I remember correctly, because I was just getting bored with the game. I was seeing other people leave the game. I was seeing less people log on. I had less desire to log in every day because there was just like the game was just so Blizzard has always been like a company that sort of likes to perfect things, and they take a long time to not only like address feedback from people in their community, but also just make games or updates in general. And I don't necessarily know if that sort of strategy works anymore for game development, because like for Fortnite, for example, like part of the success of Fortnite was just the constant, like every week they would they would have a new update pushed out, and there would always be, whether it'd be like a new game mode or a new weapon would be put in the game or just something, there would always be a constant flow of just updates coming in to keep the game fresh. But Overwatch and Blizzard in general has just never been like that. They're always, I guess you could consider them perfectionists. They like to make sure things are perfect. And it's kind of funny seeing like the state of Blizzard now, and like everyone just craps on their games for being poor, and and they often criticize Blizzard for not being very open to criticism or feedback, and they don't respond well to just their community in general. So I don't know. Why are we even talking about Overwatch? We're talking about what's going to be at BlizzCon 2021.
Yeah.
I guess we're just sort of talking about Overwatch, but Overwatch is pretty sad because they like made that whole Overwatch league, and like I see almost every month like people from teams in that league are leaving the league to join like Valorant teams. Like they're jumping ship to play new games. Yeah. Like it's almost hilarious because
I didn't know the league was still alive.
Oh yeah, they even added new teams this year, like new cities, or maybe it was the year before, but. Yeah, and like even like on that note, like COVID has destroyed like the Overwatch League, like because this was the year that they were going to be going to different cities and actually playing in venues in each city, like home games, but COVID like put a nail in that coffin.
Man, that's the thing about Overwatch, dude. I still really fondly admire that game.
Oh,
I mean, any night if you're like you want to just mess around in Overwatch, I would totally do it. Because that game brought me so much joy, dude. I had so much fun playing with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually, but it just sort of died, and I can't really describe why. It just did. So I don't even know what they can do.
It just did.
But what can they do for Overwatch 2? What are they going to do to make it fresh?
Exactly, I have no idea. Aside from the campaign, which is cool, I guess, because I love those characters. Gameplay is, as we know, king. And Overwatch really, I mean, the great thing about Overwatch is that, say what you will nowadays, but I still think Overwatch gameplay is a ton of fun for being a hero shooter. And the cherry on top of that is you had great characters, amazing music, awesome art design. So that game really, in many ways to me, was awesome. But I just don't know what they're going to do after the first one is more or less died. The community has died. How they'll bring it, resurrect it with Overwatch 2 aside from just, we have a story campaign now.
I know we're on a huge tangent. Not really, because we're talking about BlizzCon. But it's almost the game is so hard to balance, I feel like, because you have so many. It's like a League of Legends problem, but the problem with Overwatch is that you have a team of 6 people. And the only way to win is if you make a good comp with those 6 people, and then you execute better than the other team who's probably playing something very similar. It seems really hard to balance for me, because you're releasing all these different characters and you're constantly having to push updates, which they're slow to do, like I said, and people just get fed up with problems in the game. And I don't know. It just seems like a management problem to me. I feel like this whole situation could have been avoided if they would have just been a little more quick to solve problems. But I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's making me sad.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, many problems typically stem from poor leadership.
Yeah.
In every industry.
Seems like it. Yeah.
Gotta have good leaders. Anyway, after that big tangent, let's jump into Ask IOG. Ask IOG is the part of the show where we answer your questions submitted through any of our socials at ItsObviousGaming, the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel, or emailed to us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. And always include the hashtag if you want your question read live on the show. Fribes writes in and simply asks A. Gray, spelled Grey, or B. Gray. I'm glad he asked this, and many people said they go in between the two, because I thought there actually was a proper reason to use each version. If you're talking about the color gray, I thought it was with an A. But if most people's names they have the name gray in it, use an E. It's do names use E and the color uses A? I didn't know, but apparently you can interchange them depending on where you're from.
That's so weird. Why?
Growing up, I thought it was AY, but I like the look of EY more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're taught AY in school.
Yeah, at least in America.
I've definitely used the AY more than the EY.
Same. I like how the EY looks, but I've admittedly used AY more in my life.
Yeah. I don't know. If I had to pick one, I guess the AY, I don't know. Is this the question?
Yeah. Is that your final answer? You sure about that? That's the gray you're going with?
That is my choice.
Yeah. The 2 shades of gray. Hard to choose. Big Colt writes in and says...
Wait, are they really just you can use it either way and it's fine?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Is that the only word like that?
No, I'm sure there
in
are
the
more.
English language?
Color, for example, you can spell COLOR or the British version.
Oh yeah, that's a nationality thing though, right? Yeah. Or not nationality, but a favorite, a country thing. Is nationality the right word for that? It's not, right?
Nationality? No. Yeah. I mean, people in England and I imagine most of Europe spell it COLR, or I can't ever spell it. I would lose a spelling bee. I can spell anything correctly when I type or write, but I can't spell it out loud for some reason. COLOR. No, COLOUR.
Yeah. See, that's just dumb.
You know what? Color. Favorite. You could technically use those versions of spelling in America, and you wouldn't technically be wrong.
Do you think a school would accept
Someone
that?
might give you a weird look. They might be a little concerned, but it's not incorrect.
I guess you're right.
Make you seem a little more cultured, I guess.
I feel like gray is different though, because it's not a
nationality thing. No one knows the answer.
Yeah.
The great mystery of gray.
Because if you just say the word gray, and it could be it sounds like both of them. You can't distinguish how it sounds by how it's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. English is dumb.
That might keep me up tonight, Jacob. Big Colt
Which
writes
one
in
is it?
and says, having had one myself today, describe your perfect trash day. A day where you don't do anything productive or healthy.
Oh,
Your
I need one of those
trash
days.
day.
I'd love one of those days.
Well, what would your perfect trash day be?
So I wouldn't even be able to work out. So I'd probably roll out of bed around 10 or 11 a.m. Start the morning off with a couple cups of hot Joe, just snort them down. I'd probably use some. I got this creamer, Garrett. Let me let you in on this creamer. It's not peppermint, but I will tell you it's a mocha. It's mocha creamer, and boy, it really makes your coffee taste quite good. And I've told you, I have developed a taste for black coffee, but I just put a little splash, little splash of, a little bunsen of little bit of mocha creamer, and boy, does that get my taste buds going in the morning. And to counter that, or not to counter it, to go with the coffee, I'd have some vanilla yogurt. I've been on a real vanilla yogurt kick lately.
Dude, this doesn't sound. I have a ton of vanilla yogurt in my fridge right now. This doesn't sound like a trash day so far.
Oh,
aside from just waking up kind of late.
You got to start out relatively good in the morning, then you get bad as you go on. So after that, after my 2 cups of coffee, that's all it takes. It takes 2 cups for me to have to go poop. So surely after that, I'll have to go poop shortly after.
I would love that.
That would be my one poop for the day. And if it's a trash day, I'd probably play a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima. This is just what I'm playing right now. So I'd play that probably till around noon or 1 and think about what I wanted to do for lunch. And because it's a trash day, we're going to go get some trash food at the local Taco Bell because that's the trashiest of all places. And we're going to, of course, order the trashiest item, which is the grilled cheese burrito. We might even have 2 of those if we're feeling real frisky. And maybe we'd have to go to the bathroom again at that point. God, this is sounding painful, actually. I'll probably be all I would eat if I just had 2 of those. I might get some nachos because you can't go to Taco Bell and not get the chips and cheese, Garrett.
And they're about to be gone.
I know. I'm so sad.
Get them while you can.
Are they gonna have any nachos at all?
They'll have the cheese sauce still. I mean, I don't know if they'll have like the chips by themselves, but they'll have the cheese.
I'll just have to order cheese cups and have my own tortilla chips.
Yeah,
because that cheese is why you get the nachos. Like,
it's
obviously,
delicious.
like their chips aren't that good at all. Honestly, after that, like this is hard for me because anytime that I do just have a whole day off, I feel really guilty if I just stay inside and do nothing all day. So it's like hard for me to think about what I would actually do. Like what I want to say is I would just stay inside and play games. But if I was eating my Taco Bell, I would probably bring it back to the place, especially since it's COVID right now. And I would probably watch an anime. That's what I've been doing lately. Or I'd watch some other show. And I'll probably just go back to playing games. Like honestly, that's all I would do all day. If I just had a complete degenerate trash day. And right now that it would be like an interchange between WoW and Ghost of Tsushima whenever I got bored of the other. So not really exciting to talk about, but it's definitely fulfilling in the sense that I would have no responsibility for a day.
Definitely. My day is pretty similar. It centers mostly around food. So I'd probably wake up around the same time. 10-ish maybe. I'd have a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. I'd have some French toast. I've eaten an entire box of Fruity Pebbles in a sitting before, so I might just go ahead and do that. I have a box of Fruity Pebbles. I'd have some French toast. Probably some Krispy Kreme donuts while we're at it. Coffee, of course. Crap my brains out shortly thereafter. I would start my day by playing whatever game I've been playing, so probably Ghost as well. Maybe a little Halo 3 on PC for fun. And for lunch, I would also go to Taco Bell. I'd get the steak quesadilla, hold the creamy jalapeno. Maybe get it on the side this time if I'm feeling kind of wild. Cheesy Gordita Crunch with a Dorito shell because I got rid of my fiery shells again. Monsters. Steak quesarito. Actually, we'll make that 2 steak quesaritos this time, just a trash day. Couple of cheese roll-ups, large Baja Blast, naturally. Scarf that down. Play some more video games. I'll probably watch some movies as well. When I need a break from games, I'll watch some movies. For dinner, I do an Antico pizza, margarita pizza with pepperonis added. I'd eat that in its entirety. Probably have some whiskey that evening, maybe wine with pizza. And
oh yeah, I'll probably drink all day too.
Yeah. I'd also have an entire pint, which I almost eat the entire pint every time I get it, of my favorite Ben & Jerry's flavor, which is Netflix and chilled. It's peanut butter ice cream with pretzels, brownies, and one other ingredient in there. It's absolutely remarkable. And
Netflix and chilled?
That's what it's called. It's almost impossible to stop eating once you start. It is delicious.
That sounds so good.
It's incredible. I'd have the entire pint. And yeah, that'd pretty much be my day. I'd probably stay up till like 3 a.m. and just... If I survive all of that, then...
yeah, I don't know if you live after that.
I'll go back to reality the following day, but that sounds like a pretty good trash day to me.
That's like somewhere between 5 and 10K calories right there.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm bulking, so whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Who cares about the quality of the calories I'm intaking? That's all that counts, man.
Yeah, this is just a cheat day for me. This is a normal day. What was that? I just hit something.
Those sound like great trash days, Jacob. Glowstone writes in and says, do you guys watch Solar Opposites? It's made by Justin Roiland. So it's basically Rick and Morty, but also probably been asked, what's your all-time favorite show? I haven't seen Rick or Morty or Solar Opposites.
I've seen Rick and Morty, but not Solar Opposites. I'll have to look into it.
What's your all-time favorite show?
Oh, all time?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones before season 5.
5.
6, sure. If not that, then Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. Strong choice.
If I'm gonna have to pick an anime, probably Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Okay, I thought you were thinking about something else. What about you? I love so many shows. I'll name many of my favorites, and I'll actually pick one out of the bunch. So, all-time favorites are It's Always Sunny, Arrested Development, The Office, Parks and Rec, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones before season 5 or 6. What else have I really loved over the years? Love Batman the Animated Series, very near to my heart. Favorite anime, if it's not My Hero, it's One Punch Man, probably. If I had to pick one, probably It's Always Sunny. That show is just endlessly funny to me. Like, consistently, it has been funny for the last, how many seasons? Like 14 or 15 seasons?
I've only seen like a few episodes of that show.
Man, that show is so unbelievably funny.
Do you think I would like it if I just watched the whole thing?
You should watch it with Clara.
Yeah?
Does she like funny shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys would have so much fun watching that together. Just start with season 1. I mean, the first couple of seasons are definitely good, but it just gets better and better and better as you go along.
We'll do it.
You should. It'd be great. I'd probably pick It's Always Sunny as my favorite all-time show.
Yeah.
But Arrested Development's up there too. The first 3 seasons, especially the first 2 seasons of Arrested Development, are brilliant.
Yeah. I still think The Office is one of the best shows of all time.
It's very good.
It's not like that. That's not a hard or a wild take at all. Everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
Except for the freaks that don't.
Yeah, there's a sect of freaks that don't think it's at all funny. But I'm one of the people who thinks Rick and Morty isn't funny at all.
Well, so you're wrong.
It's just not my sense of humor. I don't know why.
It's very funny.
I mean, granted, I've only seen like 1 episode, so I could be wrong about that.
Well,
but
that's your problem.
Alexander Salamander, he's back again. Says, I'm just here to make Garrett chuckle at my name again, but I suppose I'll ask a question. Seeing as how I just finished Control, What single ability would you boys have from that game? Your choices are levitation, telekinesis, mind control, super speed, and short bursts, or lastly, not an ability, but a shape-shifting gun.
So what is telekinesis the ability to like move things? Or
Yeah,
is it
with
to
your
read?
mind. With your mind, essentially. Basically
Okay.
the Force.
Okay.
Or an aspect of the Force.
Oh, this is tough. So is levitation just literally levitating, or can you fly somewhere? Is the question.
Levitating is not flying, it's just levitating.
Well, that's really boring then. Could be useful. You would never have to, climb stairs again. But honestly, like I want to say mind control, but I feel like mind control would be really bad at the same time. Because I feel like if you always know what people are going to say, it would not only destroy your social ability with other people, but I think it would make life really boring. And you wouldn't really need any other people.
You said mind
you could-
control?
Yeah, I'm saying like it would be bad because you could just use people all the time. And you could get what you need out of people almost without even having to speak with them very much.
It's certainly a villain's superpower.
Mm-hmm.
If used for evil reasons.
Yeah. I feel like that's more malicious than anything.
Dude, as cool as the shape-shifting gun is, that is awesome. I think I'd have more fun with telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd go with.
To mix it up, I'll go with short bursts of speed.
That's pretty lame, man.
Yeah. Hey, it would be useful though.
I can
can
run
be a good
15
runner.
feet at 100 miles an hour. Great.
I'd be a good runner no matter what because I could just activate that whenever I needed to. And if I could do it more than once, then I could win
If
any
you could
race.
control the rate of speed in short bursts, you could use that in a way that you could disguise your speed, and people wouldn't realize it's a superpower.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Now,
all
let's
of
say
these
the
could
short
be
burst at full speed, you run 200 miles an hour, but you can extend that if you run at, say, 25 miles an hour.
That'd be crazy.
So,
I wouldn't need a car.
No. And you could probably win a lot of foot races.
Yeah.
You'd probably be a pretty good running back. So, some perks there.
All of these have their
burst of speed.
benefits.
Right.
So none of them are bad. Besides mind control, maybe. Mind control would be useful. Like no one could ever hide anything from you.
Yeah, if used righteously, it could be a great power.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're just a supervillain, you could really take over the world with mind control.
Right. What is the shape-shifting gun? Like, what's that about?
I know it's like a handgun. It turns into a rifle. It probably turns into a shotgun.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting. Oh, this is Control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a game I should play.
I hear it's pretty good.
Didn't it win Game of the Year for IGN? Right?
I think IGN did give it Game of the Year.
So, someone must have liked it.
I thought it was going to win Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year, but it did not. It lost to Sekiro.
It lost to Sekiro.
Yep. Epic, we got your question, man. But we're going to hold off until Jacob looks into that game more.
Yeah. So I will say this. This is Irish Ninja, by the way. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he changed his name. So I have heard about Ashes of Creation, but I want to hold off on your question because I have not watched the Lazy Peons video, and that's like the video everyone's talking about, and everyone's like excited because it's like the big new MMO coming out. And I know you talk about it being a WoW killer here, but every single MMO that comes out is going to be the next WoW killer. Like they're always the next WoW killer, but they never are a WoW killer. But I will say this one has the potential to be a WoW killer if there ever was one. So we'll see what happens. It's still
It's
very
going to need a
early
stronger name if it's going to kill World of Warcraft. There's no cooler MMO name than World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I think people would debate you on that. I think Ashes of Creation is pretty cool sounding. I think it's cool. But yeah, the game it definitely looks to be very cool in terms of like it's like going back to some really hardcore elements that MMOs used to sort of be praised for. So like as time's gone on, MMOs have become a little more casual, a little more approachable for obvious reasons, where businesses want more people to play them. So it's interesting to see a more hardcore MMO coming out. So I do recommend this video. Like I haven't seen it myself, but it has like over 1 million views. It's really popular on YouTube right now. So everyone go watch the Lazy Peons Ashes of Creation video, like I will be doing tonight. But we'll come back to this question next week. Apache.
Sounds good.
I'll talk
Apache,
a little more.
or is it Epic?
That's not Epic.
I thought that's another way you could probably spell Epic. EPOCH.
Epoch.
Did you say it's Apache?
Isn't that what you said?
I said Epic, but you said, well, we'll get you next week, Apache.
I thought when you originally read his question, it was Apache.
No, Epic. I mean, you could be right. Maybe it is Apache.
I think it's Apache.
Ninja, please, Irish Ninja, please clarify for us. But we'll be back with that one. Patrick Mulligan on Twitter writes in, PlayStation 5 for series speculation. Rumors of very cheap Lockhart that's console only. What can be done to evolve trophies and achievements, xCloud in the future? Well, let's do this one next week too, because I'd actually like to put some thought into that answer.
Yeah.
All right, big finale comes from our boy, our brother, Zach Bynum. Writes in again with some very important analysis of this podcast. He says, heard you disrespecting me on your last podcast. So my question is, how come Preston is really cool, Jacob is okay, and Garrett is the biggest idiot ever?
He's right about you.
I'll leave you with my favorite quote. What's the world going to do when I call your bluff, punk? A day to remember. Stay sweet. Sincerely, me.
Thanks for that.
You see, the problem is Zach, he's so stupid that he constantly runs into this issue when he doesn't realize that he's such an idiot that he constantly mistakes me for being one. And I repeatedly have to remind him, no, dude. You're just confused because you're so dumb.
Is that it?
And, yeah. So we have this debate. I kid you not, practically daily. Every time.
Yeah, you just saw him the other day.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Believe me, we had this conversation multiple times throughout the weekend. So he'll know when he listens to this episode, which I imagine will be soon.
And what does he mean that I'm okay? Like, I would rather be one or the other. Don't just say I'm okay. Make a stand on something.
That really is the worst, man. You're practically forgettable when you're just okay.
I'm either really cool or I suck, okay? Pick a side, Zach. No one wants to be in the middle. Don't put me in the middle. Quite frankly,
he says Preston's really cool because he formerly called Preston the foul.
Yeah, imagine thinking Preston is the cool one. Give me a break. Give me a break, Zach. Zachary on Facebook. Imagine using Facebook to write a question.
Shout out to everyone who writes in on Facebook. We love you and we appreciate you. Except for Zach, he's a big idiot. So harsh feedback from old Zach, but I'd love to have him back on the podcast again. Specifically, if we ever play Super Fight, like I mentioned, he'd be a great addition to that.
What is Super Fight?
It's that card game I told you about where you draw the cards and you have a character and abilities.
Okay.
He and I were so passionate about it.
I thought you were talking about what's it called? Fall Guys.
No.
I was like, that's not what it's called, man.
You thinking I'm talking about Fall Guys? You can't remember the title of Ghost of Tsushima? You really did have a long day, Jacob.
I'm very tired.
Man. Well, that does it for episode 243 of the It's Obvious podcast. This was a ton of fun as always, Jacob. I'm sad Preston couldn't join us. He had a long day at work. He was trapped at work, actually, so he couldn't join us. But it was great, Jacob. Love talking about this stuff with you, as always. If you guys are listening to the podcast on any of your respective platforms, this is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play, and many more. And new episodes every Monday at midnight Eastern. And we love you to bits and cannot thank you enough for tuning in and giving us community questions each and every week. That is always our favorite part of the podcast. And we're excited to talk about all the things on this episode with you on Discord and in the comment sections. And, of course, everything coming our way for the next couple of weeks and remainder of the year. It's going to be awesome. So, again, Thank you for the support. We love you. That's all from me, Jacob.
Just one thing for me. Sorry that the episode is late this week. we were busy, and life has a way of doing that sometimes. So, at the very least, we were happy to find a time where we could do it here on Monday night. So, Garrett, when do you think this one will be live? Like in the morning, right? Like I know it.
I want it to be,
people
yes.
listening, but
it will be live on podcast services in the morning, but YouTube's going to probably come tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like tomorrow and tomorrow morning. I mean, like Tuesday morning podcast will be live on services, and then YouTube probably Tuesday night.
Cool, man.
Tuesday night, the 11th of August, 2020.
Yeah, that's really just for me. People are going to hear this at the end of the episode. They're going to be like, "It's already out,"
Yeah, it's already out, dude. It's been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm catching up.
But yeah, you guys need to catch up. Like we want you on the current episode. There's no excuse. Okay, the show is only, how long is this episode? Like
probably 3 hours.
This one's actually almost 2.5 hours. I'm surprised. We had a few stories. Makes sense. Yeah, like we're not asking much, people. Okay, just give us 2 hours of your week. You're driving to the store.
2.5 hours of your whole day.
You're driving to the store. You're wearing your
Listen
mask.
to 5 minutes a day for a couple of months.
You got your hand sanny. You're wiping your hands. You're putting your gloves on. You're being really careful with COVID. Okay. Now, just listen. Okay. That's all we ask.
But
seriously, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Yeah, just thank you. That's all I have to say.
just thank you so much. We do mean that from the depths of our souls, and we will catch you again next week.
Yep. See you guys.
Peace. Later.